What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 74. Guys, somehow we found our ways over to the forest moon of Endor, and here we are, as you can see, prepared for the official unveiling today of the Han Solo from Return of the Jedi by Hot Toys. Guys, how exciting of a day is this, right? I mean, I feel like a lot of people gave up, right? A lot of people were like, last year was Return of the Jedi 40th. Hot Toys just did two figures, that's it. But, Hot Toys said, Howie was sitting there and he was like, you know what? I'm going to drop one more thing before Chinese New Year. And who would have thought it would have been Han Solo? Not me. Probably not you guys. Probably not any of us on the panel. So, with that being said, though, what a crazy, crazy surprise. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about, of course, though. We're definitely going to talk about that Han Solo and those 2019 Inart Jokers as well. We have some more people coming in on the panel very shortly, but I want to say what's up to all of our panel members, and then we'll say what's up to everybody. It's already popping in on the chat. Of course, as always, guys, we have Chris Collecting Madness here. He's also with me. He's not quite in the same area that I'm in, but I'm going to go find him shortly. I think he's over by the base there. So.
The base over here. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow he has a miniature version of Han Solo with him. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, it's weird. I just found this guy laying on the ground. Along with some plans, but good to be here. Good to be on stream. Good to be talking about Star Wars once again. As far as Hot Toys, definitely always good to have the chat here. So let's get this going, man.
Yes, sir. And then, guys, a familiar face, Mr. 600 subscribers over here. Congrats to Steve. He's growing quickly, guys, and I really wanted to have Steve on. Absolutely did. I wanted to have Steve on because, once I saw that Steve was losing his mind like I was, I think I made my post in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group, and he was like, dude, oh my lord. And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I'm like, special guest, Evil Sneaker tonight? He's like, let me see what I can do. So had to get him on because I know you were really excited about this. I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, dude, great to have you here, as always.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it was wild. I was looking at my phone, and like I was just scrolling Facebook, and like I saw it like right when it popped up. So like I was just
me too.
It, and I was like, wait, what? It just shows like blogger photos. There's no description or anything, and I was like, what? I started losing my mind, but very excited. Yeah, very excited. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. That's always me. Every time like I wake up, it's like the timing. I wake up early in the morning. That was me with Han Solo this morning. I was like, and you know how many times people have made those fake little posts where they're like, oh, look what Hot Toys just, and Bespin Han kind of brought that on us with the memes. But, dude, again, it seems unreal. It just really seems unreal. Even though, like, in the back of my mind, we've talked about it many times in the stream. We'll get into it a little bit more as we start talking about Han. But in the back of my mind, I figure, they were going to work it out some way, right? But it just doesn't feel real. But great to have you on, Steve. And then finally,
thanks, bro.
Absolutely, dude. We have Sean, the Hot Toys Nightmare here, also with a miniature of Han Solo there on his desk. Everybody, I thought I had a special idea busting out my Han Solo, but they were 2 steps ahead of me. So Sean's got that Stormtrooper Han, dude. That's the one everybody wants. Some people may kind of split their decision between the A New Hope and this new Return of the Jedi, but that one I think kind of stands on its own. It's such a special, unique version of the character. So definitely really cool, and it's great to have you here, Sean.
Well, thank you for having me here, Connor. I would have had my normal A New Hope on Solo, but my Falcon cockpit decided to lock itself up again and not allow me to take it out. Yay.
Gee,
But hey, that's enough for me. We got, that's right. The Midnight Collectors just arrived. Ladies, calm down. All you guys, you need to settle down. That's right.
Yeah,
the myth.
Wait, are you not ready for battle? Where's your Endor gear, man?
The Midnight Collector.
You went to the wrong planet.
Hey.
You guys are got some killer space teddy bears hiding out there somewhere, don't you?
It's okay.
That's all right. I
have my lightsaber to protect me.
Look how short that lightsaber is, dude.
I see. Did you already give the love to
It's
Big
taller
Dog
than
Pound?
Not yet, Lane. We're lame. You're the last one we got to say hey to, and then we're gonna say what's up to the chat, and then we're gonna go. Chris has something special for you today, Big Dog Pound. He got something special in. But Lane, thank you so much for being here. Perfect timing because we're going to start right off the bat with Han Solo.
I'm
We
totally
got to.
shocked. That's why I made sure I was here.
I know. I was like, I told Chris, I'm like, I feel bad starting with Han Solo because I don't know if Lane's going to be here. But I was like, we're going to talk about him for a while, so he'll be here by the time we're still talking about him. So, but great to have you here as always, Lane. And I know you're really excited, just like we are about this Han. So.
And you know what the funny part is? Like literally, I think within like less than an hour of that announcement, I was seeing like Han Solo and New Hope like $400. So I was like, damn, the value of that just went. And
dude, we were having this conversation earlier in the Facebook group. It's like this always happens, right? Whenever they drop a new version, it'll fluctuate, it'll drop. Eventually, things will equalize. There's plenty of collectors out there that are going to prioritize the A New Hope.
I just thought that was funny, though. Like, literally.
It happens every single time. Yeah, it happens every single time. It's funny how it works. But, if you're crazy like me and some other people, you want all the versions. I want all, man. So.
Well, I already said that I figured you were going to help Off the Rats go out because you were going to, like, buy 3 of them.
Oh, no. Ryan and I were saying we were just going to buy out all of the Han Solos so that some guy and Matt couldn't get any. I was like, I'll buy 10, you buy 10. So I didn't quite buy 10, but all right, I don't want to keep let's not keep everybody hanging any longer. I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat, and then we're going to get started. Sean, I'll reveal that when we get to Han, dude. We can't say our numbers yet. Stick to the program, Sean.
Han now.
Sean, don't stop, Sean. We got to give him a little bit of suspense. Let me say what's up to some people in the chat, and then we'll get started. And we'll say what we got once we get started on Han. Let's see. We have some guy, one of our great moderators and a channel member here. Thank you so much for being here. Some guy says, what's up, peoples? Dropping the hotline emojis in chat. Yes, guys, as always, you're not required by any means to become a Hotline Hero, a.k.a. channel member, but the link is in the description if you would like to support. And I very much appreciate all of you guys that are in here, and I always try to give you guys a shout out when I see you. We got Funky Cold Santa saying what's up to some guy. Funky Cold, is great to see you, bro, as always. And I love that you're sticking to that Jesse profile picture. I know you've had that for a minute, so maybe the next clone release that really excites you got to swap it out. That's awesome, though. Love that figure. That's a great figure. I think it's a really underrated figure. It kind of came at a weird time, but if you're a fan of the Clone Wars like I am and a lot of us are, it's such a great figure. I love that head sculpt especially. Let's see who else we have here. Of course, we have another one of our great moderators and also a channel member, Payton23. Payton says, good evening, fellow collectors. What's up, Payton? We call him the GIF Meister in the Facebook chat because I swear, it's like he already knows what you're going to send before you send it because he has a GIF for everything. So if you're looking for somebody to teach you how to GIF, if that's even a thing, Payton's your guy. Let's see who else we got here tonight. Hobby Halber, what's up, Hobby? Hobby's been hanging out in the Discord, hanging out in the Facebook group. It's so great to see you in the chat tonight. Hobby says happy Han Solo Day. Yes, this is absolutely kind of our fan-made Han Solo Day, huh? Because we're all just super excited. Again, just such a very unexpected surprise this morning. So definitely really excited to talk about it. And I would have been upset not to see this gentleman here. We have Beskar Kid. Beskar says, kind of blasé, been a boring week of Star Wars. Yeah, such a boring week of Star Wars, right? Only 2 releases and an announcement. Just what a whack week. But yeah, I mean, there it is, guys, right? We were on that little Star Wars drought for a while, and Howie said, you know what, we're going to throw you guys a little bit.
I don't know. I was pretty yelling to the Raptors last night. Pretty happy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Padme. I was very satisfied with Padme for this week.
No, that's not the one I was talking about.
He's talking
about Catwoman. He's talking about Catwoman. Yeah. Lane, sorry, I'm in Star Wars mode right now. We're definitely going to talk about Catwoman tonight. But
if we don't, I'm going to come find you because that's been 3 years.
Don't you worry. We're going to talk about
3 years.
I'm on Endor. Once I get off of Endor, we'll talk about Catwoman. Let's see. Joe P is in the house. Joe P says Celebration Day for sure. Absolutely, man. And I love the Donald Glover Lando profile picture. I just love that aesthetic. I love that yellow and black outfit of his. It just looks really good. I wish they would have done a hot toy of that. I know everybody's like, whoa, that movie sucked. I liked Solo. I liked it. It definitely is one of those that kind of needed a rewatch for me. Like the first time around, I was like, but it definitely was better the second time around for me. Let's see. MB Dyson says, you mean you weren't going to be wearing your Endor disguise if the figure had? Of course I was going to. I was already planning on this, dude, and it was just the timing just, worked out perfectly, But MB, thank you so much for being here, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Who else we got here? Miami is in the house. Miami's Nemesis, dropping the emojis in the chat. Cheers to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on everything. Jordan Skinner is here. She says, hey guys, hope I'm not late. You're actually right on time. We're just getting started. So thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Jeremy Casa from Plastic Hero Collectibles says, whoa, did I tune into the right stream? Is this Hot Toys Hotline? What is this madness? Yeah, I know, dude. I know Lane and I went live for the giveaway the other day, and we kind of fooled you there, right? You thought we were going to go live on a random day, but yeah, it was just for the giveaway, man. So I apologize for that, but thank you so much for being here. And guys, as always, check out Plastic Hero Collectibles in the description. Great place to get not only pre-orders and stuff like that, but also if you're hunting down anything on the secondary market, he's definitely a really trustworthy person to go through. So definitely check him out. Let's see. All right, Chris. I think it's time. Right? Because Big Dog Pound is here and he's been waiting. So, Chris, you got to show him what you got for him. He's got to leave Endor real quick, right? He's got to leave Endor because he's got to do something. And he's pushing Han Solo to the side on Han Solo Day. Hold on, Chris, you're muted.
I said special day with a special belt. Got a new belt here, and we got a new hot toy announced. It's about to be a lit stream. So in case y'all didn't know, I am the Collective Madness. I'm the hot toys delivering, wheeling and dealing, wedding ring wearing, son of a gun, and now I got a new championship for the collection, baby. Let's go, Big Dog Pound. Woo!
I mean, Big Dog Pound, you can't really ask for much more, right? But Big Dog Pound, it's always great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. He's another one of our great moderators here. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey, I got a quick question. Chris, has your wife ever questioned, like, you work up this big stuff for Big Dog Pound 1? Do you do things like that for her?
Can't confirm or deny. I'm just kidding. I'll say it out there. Yeah, and then I drop it.
One day I'll do that.
Hey, just hit her with the people's elbow. Rick Galindo says, are you going to talk about that jacked up Hot Toy Selena Kyle 2.0? Jacked up. We're going to talk about it for sure. Can't wait to hear your thoughts because it sounds like you're going to have some interesting ones. But Rick, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And once we get to Selena Kyle, definitely share your thoughts. I have my own thoughts on it. I don't think it's perfect, but I'm so excited for it. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm scrolling through. If I miss you, as always, as you're commenting, I'll definitely say what's up to you guys. Chunker is here. Owen says, Han Solo, Han Schmolo. He's just messing with y'all. Don't take him seriously. Jeremy says, where's Connor? How much did we pay for Harrison Ford for this stream? Dude, it almost broke the budget, man. You know, the figure budget for the week is gone now. So, Catwoman talk. Yeah. And so, Owen, I actually forgot to pull those photos up. So, you'll have to remind me when we get to Catwoman. I'll pull those photos up that you were sharing. Yes, the Lane Train is here. HG is here. HG says, hey, gentlemen. What's up, HG? Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. We also have Don Prime in the house. Don says, yo, yo, yo. What's up, Don? So great to have you here, bro. I know you're excited for that Han Solo. Hey, come on, who's not excited for Han Solo? If you're a Star Wars fan, you got to be excited for that Han Solo. Boba Fettuccini's in the house. Boba Fettuccini says, good evening, everyone. How's my favorite 1-6 peeps doing? It's so great to have you here, bro. Great to see you. I'm doing well. I think everybody on the panel is doing well. Everybody seems to be super excited for tonight, so I hope you're doing well as well. And I just said well a lot, so I hope you're doing well, though. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Zombies here. Hello, doll enthusiasts. I like that. Yes, we are all doll enthusiasts. Let's see. Violet is here as well. Violet says, hey, guys. What's up, Violet? So great to have you here. Violet actually posted pictures earlier. She bought the I Am Groot figure from me, and she's really loving it, so it's great to see. We know this guy, or some of you might, buy from him, and you may not know who he is. This is John, the owner of Off the Racks. I was talking to John today, and I was like bugging the crap out of him. I'm like, dude, I have to be first to buy Han Solo from you. They're telling me they're going to beat me. So John was like, give me 1 minute. So he threw it up, and I bought it from him. So I did pre-order it. I
admit, he has me feeling a little bit bad. He made me feel a little bit bad today because originally I had talked to him early this morning and was like, hey, as soon as the Han Solo goes up, let me know. And he was more or less like, I thought you're not the biggest Han Solo. I'm like, this is a Han Solo, man. Like, he may be not my top character from the original trilogy, but I'm going to get
you gotta get it. Right, you got to get Han.
But
yeah, so I was bugging him, Lane. I was bugging him. I'm like, when's he going up? The moment it got announced, I sent him a picture of the head sculpt, and I was like, put this up ASAP.
Yeah, I know. I put that up, and was like 5 minutes after I saw it. I sent it to him, too. And, but I felt bad because I pre-ordered it from Sideshow.
Wow. John, see? You can't trust this guy, John.
Right
You
in
can't
front of
trust
us.
him. He messages you, and then he buys from Sideshow.
Well,
so.
I didn't realize I had $40 in points to use.
That's
so I
fair.
just said, like, I'm going to go. And then, of course, he did point out, well, you're probably going to spend the same amount with the tax and the shipping. I was like, God, don't talk to me.
Yeah, he gotcha. But yeah, guys, here's a link to Off the Racks as always. Thank you so much, some guy, for dropping that, and the link is in the description as well. Clone Trooper is here. Clone Trooper says, watch out for those Ewoks. I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. I got the ATST behind me protecting me, so hopefully nothing happens while we're doing the stream. Also, I see Yomo in the house. What's up, Yomo? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Who else we got? Collector Joey is in the house. What's up, Collector Joey? Guys, you know who Collector Joey is. Joey, I'm sure you're really excited. I know you're a newer Star Wars fan, but Han's a great way to continue your Star Wars collection, right? You gotta buy Han.
Right.
So yeah, you got to get it, man. Yeah, Boo Lane. John's right, Boo Lane. Don't get him started, John. People are gonna start booing left and right. One Adam. I always want to say 1/12 Adam because I got figures in my head 24/7. One Adam 12s. I love the little the caricature with the Infinity Gauntlet. That's hilarious. Hey guys, I just bought my Han first ever day one pre-order. Well, hey, if you're going to give a day one pre-order slot to any figure, a Han, I think, is pretty suitable, huh? And 16 Star Wars Pimpazoid is here as well. He says, big week for Star Wars. Absolutely, a huge week for Star Wars. So, guys, we're going to get started. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging in while we say what's up to everybody and get started with the stream. Like I said, we're just going to get right into it with Han Solo. Let me take this comment off the screen here. We're going to pull Han Solo up. I'm going to zoom in. But, guys, here we are with our Return of the Jedi Han Solo. Now, guys, if you remember, right, we had this conversation many times about what else would we like to see from Return of the Jedi 40th. Obviously, Return of the Jedi 40th was last year. We're now into 2024. And a lot of people, including myself, were like, really, that was it? We only got 2 figures from Return of the Jedi 40th. And then we had some conversations on the stream, right? We had multiple conversations where like, well, there's no way that Hot Toys only does 2 Return of the Jedi figures, right? Like there's got to be more on the table. So in thinking that way, in the back of my mind, I think in the back of a lot of our minds, we're like, they've got to do at least like a Luke or something, right? Or, maybe they'll even give us the Han. Guys, they gave us the Han Solo, right? And this one was actually, if you guys remember, for those of you that watch my main channel videos, I did do a video on my once from Return of the Jedi 40th last year, and this was actually, I believe, tier 2 and 3, because I wanted a Han and Chewie 2-pack. Not to say that the Chewie might not still happen, but obviously we did get the Han by himself, and I couldn't be more happy. And we're going to address it right off the bat, guys. I know those who are kind of iffy about the head sculpt, the biggest concern is the hair. I will pull up a photo here so we can get a better shot of the head while we're discussing it here. For me, I don't hate the hair, but I do see how some may argue, maybe they can decrease the volume by about like 2 to 5%, just by a small amount. I will say, though, with that being said, if this is what we got with the final product, me personally, I would be very happy. I actually really like the likeness. I know other people commented on the wrinkles in the forehead. It's going to soften up in the final product anyway. That's one of the things that often does soften up a little bit. So I think when it does, you're going to see it really being in a good place, in my opinion, as long as they don't change anything else. And in terms of the hair, I feel like a lot of people, if they continue to complain about it, maybe Hot Toys will tweak it a little bit, or maybe they'll, they could, do what they did with the Batman and throw in a second hair piece with a different style to it. You never know. But again, for me, I'm very happy with how this looks. I 100% see Harrison Ford here. I know some people said they don't. It's how it always is with head sculpts. It's, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some people see it, some people don't. For me, I think this head sculpt's fantastic. I do have the other 1/6 scale Han Solos in my collection from Hot Toys. Those also have fantastic head sculpts. So, if those older head sculpts are bangers, I do have faith that Hot Toys is going to deliver a great product in the end. And I'm very happy with how it looks, guys. The other thing that's a huge plus, we have an alternate swap out look for this guy. So me personally, the duster's going on. That's the look that I've wanted for the longest time. That's my favorite Han Solo look. However, it's really nice to have the option to swap it out and kind of have that duster taken off and be closer to like an A New Hope look. So this is really, really cool. I'm very excited for this. I'm going to pass it on to the next person because I don't want to spend too much time right off the rip because I want to let some other people to share their thoughts. But definitely drop your thoughts down in the comments below, guys, especially about the hair. I'm very curious to hear you guys' thoughts on the hair. Again, I do see the argument where maybe you could decrease the volume a little bit in the hair, but if this is what they delivered, I wouldn't be too upset. I will say here in this photo where they kind of have it inverted, I could see like kind of what people are talking about, but again, it really doesn't bother me at all. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. Chris, we're going to move on to you. Because I know, the moment this dropped, you texted me, you're like, dude, call me when you get off of work. We got to talk about this. Because we were both just super excited. And we both kind of seem to share the similar opinion on this figure overall. So what are your thoughts? We finally got the Return of the Jedi Han Solo.
I think we mentioned this earlier, you and I, when we talked. But if they were to, like, release this as is right now, I would 100% take it. Like, I think it looks like Harrison Ford. And I actually kind of, like, I get people are saying, like, it may be a little bit too deep, the wrinkles or something like that in the forehead and the hair. I put that kind of all aside. I like that they're giving a different expression than what we're used to. And these shots right here, at least the one on the right for me, if that hair is rooted or, like, looks like actual hair, I could almost pass that for, like, a product shot of Harrison Ford himself. Like, that's how good it looks to me. Now, as you said, it's in the eye of the beholder. I'm really happy with this, and Return of the Jedi is basically what I collect as far as OT, and I know people want the Bespin one, but this one, when it dropped, like, I just jumped up. I got this custom one here, and now I have basically no need for it. I could throw it in the trash or sell it or whatever, but yeah, I'm super happy with this. I like the tailoring, and then the last thing I'll say, I did mention to you, is the base. I'm a bit worried that if they don't do it chewy, like the base height may be a little bit different. So if they're next to each other, I like the way the base looks, but compared to like the Leia and the Wicket and the bases we got with those and the Endor look especially, it looks cool, but I don't know. I'm just afraid it sticks out like a sore thumb. And either way, still picking it up. And then I noticed, I don't know if you did, it's a waist clamp. It's not a crotch grabber.
Yeah, I did notice that, which is, it's interesting. They kind of pick and choose where they want to use those. I wonder why, where does that decision come into play to use the waist clamp, I wonder.
And now with, we're going to talk about it later, but Padme's boots looking like sculpted. Reva's boots were sculpted to look like leather. I'm curious to see what they do with his. I couldn't really tell if they're sculpted or not because I couldn't trace a seam in them, but either way, I'm happy. So I'll let somebody else share the excitement.
Yeah, man, it's really exciting for sure. I want to pull up a couple comments. Let's see. Joey says, "Why are you trying to sell me?" Joey, this figure sells itself, man. I may have a personal stake in Hot Toys. I might be a shareholder. You never know, but it's Han Solo, dude. You got to. I know you're a newer Star Wars fan, and this is a great way to like really jumpstart that Star Wars collection. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a gum commercial. I'm like, ching. Yeah, you got to get it, dude. You got to at least consider it. At least consider. I won't try to fool say. At least consider it. Let's see. Zombie says, the hair, I agree, maybe a little too slick back or something. I can't place, but the face is dead on for me, though. Yeah, again, for me, I'm very happy with the likeness on this one. I've seen some people kind of share their thoughts on it, and, some people were hit or miss. But for me, I'm very, very happy with the likeness on this one for sure. So I totally agree. Violet also says the hair just needs a little more movement in it. It looks like a hair, it's like a hair helmet the way it is. Yeah, I saw someone else mention that as well. They were saying it looked like he just took a helmet off. Yeah, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Hot Toys like saw the feedback and just, I guess, for the price point, they could throw in an extra piece of hair, kind of like, again, like they did with the Batman. I guess it remains to be seen. Clone Trooper also saying head sculpt looks good, just not happy with the Lego hair. That's wild. Lego hair. That's funny. Yeah, that's fair. Again, I understand. Like, looking at the hair, I think a lot of people there's going to be a lot of mixed opinions. Boba says they put the hair on Harrison Ford that he had in American Graffiti. Man, you guys are roasting this hair piece, man. Product hand. Let's see. One Adam 12 says, as John Travolta's character in Saturday Night Fever said, don't mess with the hair. I work a long time on the hair. Yeah, it's perfectly slicked back, right? You can't touch it. Steve, let's jump to you. What are your thoughts on Han Solo, man? And like, I know you were really excited, like I was. Like, that's kind of how you coming on the stream today kind of came to fruition. We were both just super excited. I'm like, dude, you should come on. So, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on the head sculpt? What are your thoughts? You know, we have a lot of comments in the chat, and there's a lot of comments on Facebook about the hair and maybe the wrinkles in the forehead. What are your thoughts overall with what you're seeing here?
Yeah, it's funny. We were kind of talking backstage about like I saw this right when I was scrolling on Facebook this morning, like right when it popped up, I saw it. And the funny thing is, I couldn't remember like what I was looking at, but it's funny because what I saw before this, I saw the J&D pricing right before this. I saw the pricing for J&D of like the new armory in Batman, and like I couldn't remember that that's what I saw. Like I was trying to think about it. I just now remembered because like I literally just forgot about it at that point because I was so excited about this. So just really, really excited about this figure. Yeah, I mean, just anything OT for me. And then finally, like everybody in the community is wondering like, when are we going to get another Han Solo? It's just been so long. Is it ever going to happen? It's just, yeah, it's crazy, but I'm really stoked about it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm with you, Connor. You made a lot of good points. I agree with like pretty much everything you said about it. As far as if this came out now, if this is what it looked like, I would be happy with it. I think the head sculpt's fantastic. I see like what people are saying about the wrinkles. They're gonna soften up, like you said. Yeah. I think they will. They're probably gonna soften up. I understand what people are saying about the hair. However, I think it would be beneficial for some people to also just go check out some of the Endor pictures of Han, like his actual hair and how it looks.
That's true. Yeah,
if you look, he has a lot of scenes where his hair is like differently styled, and there's a lot of scenes when his hair is a little bit more puffy like this. What I'll say though is that it's puffy on this. It's like a clean puffy though. So it's like, I agree with what people are saying about maybe changing up like if the hair had a little bit more movement.
Yeah, like some like loose hairs kind of.
Yeah, like some loose hair, or just like make it so it's not like just as so like combed back, clean, puffy. But if you look at photos of Endor Han, like you will see puffiness in his hair. That is not, it's not just like straight flat down, and it's not like really close to his head. If you go look it up, there's a variety of scenes where his hair is really puffed out. So I see like the argument and how the hair kind of looks. I can understand it. Like I said, I think it's the hair. I do feel like it's a little bit off, and they could just change like how it looks. But volume wise, if we want to talk about hair volume, I don't think it's all that off, in my opinion. If you go and look at the photos of Endor Han, like this is how puffy his hair is in the movie.
Like I said, like that's why I use the random number of like 2 to 5%.
Yeah.
5% might even be pushing it, but you know, just kind of take like I like that point that you made. Like it's like a little too thick. Maybe you can argue that, but again, like especially this angle here, I think it looks pretty good in my opinion.
I think I think that's a good way to put it. Like I feel like his hair is like kind of puffy like this, but there's some areas where it's too thick. I agree. I would agree with that. But otherwise, I mean, if you look at some of these photos, I think some angles do look better than others. I think again, just like Hot Toys doing the rolling eyes is just, I just hopefully continue to do that with every figure, because the look of this figure and pretty much all the figures that have it, it really just allows you to capture whatever look you want. And I feel like the rolling eyes on this figure, some of them look better than others and capture it really well. And then some of them like, I probably wouldn't do that particular expression, but you can like kind of get a different expression out of the figure with the rolling eyes. But
it changes a lot. Yeah, it really does.
It changes a lot. I'm with Chris, what he said too about the base. I think it's tough because if you look at all, like I have, Leia and Wicket, and I have Endor Luke, and those bases that they have, like it doesn't go with this. You know what I mean? They're doing this new, like they did the same base style with, I think like Artisan Anakin is getting this base style. Return of the Jedi 3PO, I think, is getting this base style as well. So like they're doing this new base style, but yeah, it takes away from the cohesiveness with the base. Not a huge deal for me. Like I suppose you could just pick up another base and get like an Endor plate if you really wanted like cohesion with your bases. Not a huge thing for me. Other like on the other side of that is like the bases. I think
I was about to say it's so classy looking. I love how it's just simple. It's not over the top. It's clean. It kind of portrays what they want to portray. I think it looks good.
Yep. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm kind of a base snob. Like I don't really like using plain bases. So like I'm for it. But yeah, as far as cohesiveness goes, that's going to be a little bit different. Like the waist grabber is interesting.
Very interesting. Like what made them want to go that route?
Yeah,
maybe because they thought.
I almost wonder now that they're raising the bases up and they're going to be standing on something that you want to grab onto it. So like, I don't really know.
I think maybe
they-
because of this log here, because he
Yeah.
can't kind of stand perfectly in the middle, maybe they felt like it wasn't stable enough.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's
Where
weird
do you put
because
it?
they gave one to Reva, and I had to change it at first to a
Yeah.
crotch grabber.
They've done waist grabbers with a lot of the female figures. Interesting enough, like Ray. Ray had the waist grabber as well, which of course the one with Snowspeeder Luke made a lot of sense because you could hang him upside down and stuff. Really quick before we continue the conversation, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Harrison Latoris is in the building. Mike, we really expected you to come in with a helmet on or something, dude. What is wrong with you? Like, I'm like, Mike cannot let us one up him. Like, I got my Endor poncho and everything on, man. Like,
Listen, I could not have competed with what you got going on right now. Anyway, so I'm glad I didn't even get the opportunity today. No, I wish I could have come in with some kind of.
it's all right. You're right. Like he disappears and he comes back with like a Harrison Ford style wig on.
Right, the show's not over yet. We'll see.
That's true. He can come out with anything. He could leave and go to Party City real quick, and we would never know. He's like, hey, so I got a call real quick. I'll be back.
I might have
guys."
my blaster. Well, do you remember that old SNL sketch when they had like their cats blasters?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
There you go. He came prepared.
Yeah, sorry I'm late, guys. Happy to see you guys.
No,
Enjoying the discussion so far.
Yeah, dude, it's really, really, really exciting. We got a lot of people actually dropping some very interesting comments here. But yeah, great thoughts, Steve. And again, like a lot of this stuff, a lot of these discussions are very thought provoking. And it's funny. The more I look at these photos on stream with you guys, the more I like the figure. I got to be honest with you, I really do love this head sculpt. And I don't just want to focus on the head sculpt because the tailoring is beautiful. I love the fitment of the coat. I'm just very, very happy right now. I'm very happy with what we see here. Before we move on to our next panel member, I want to read some comments because I think a lot of people are making some great points here. Mark he says he's excited for Han Solo. Yeah, it's just again, it just almost doesn't feel real. The timing is just so odd, but in a good way for sure. Jordan says if you swap the Han Solo, the hair sculpt Han Storm disguise, I can't even talk, to Han Stormtrooper disguise, the sculpted hair, it's perfect. Yeah, someone actually in the Discord mentioned that earlier. Yeah, again, I would not be shocked if enough people complain and Hot Toys give us an extra hair piece because they know like some people are going to fall in love with this look, so they're not necessarily probably going to take away this one. I think John Wick, they did the same thing. They gave us an alternate hair piece that wasn't originally shown with the figure, so it's very possible to do that. You never know. Yeah, Yomo is saying the platform base looks like the one that they're using for Artisan Anakin, which is what Steve mentioned as well. Have they used this base with any other Star Wars figures? And I think Steve is right also. The C-3PO with the Salacious Crumb also has that base as well. Let's see. Big Dog Pound says that is perfection. Absolutely. It's close to it, and again, of course, perfection is all in relative terms, but for me, I'm so excited for it. So I'm happy to say it's perfect in my eyes. Clone Trooper says, I wish we would get actual leather belt boots for $290. I wonder if Hot Toys needed to pay a bit more for the usual Ford. Yeah, Harrison Ford has an interesting relationship with Star Wars as of late. So I imagine it was probably a bit more pricey because you guys know, the standard price lately for Star Wars Hot Toys has been about $265. So this is on the higher end, but let's be real. I don't think anyone was like, oh, I'm not ordering this now. Everybody was just like, oh, cool, $290, sure, click, pre-order. I don't think anybody was like losing their mind over it. Maybe if it was a different character, absolutely, but it's Han Solo. People are paying out the wazoo for the A New Hope version, so I think plenty of people are going to be very excited to pay $290 for this guy. So
I think it could have been a little bit lower though.
Of course, in a perfect world, I would have liked to have seen like $280, but I'm not going to complain about it because it's Han Solo, and we've been begging and begging and begging and begging and begging and begging. So I'll take it. It's not the best price, but it's also it could have been way worse. Joe P says I have every Luke and Leia except for the Endor versions. Well done, Hot Toys. They gotcha. That's all it takes. They gotcha. Let's see. Zombie says it's so nice how the rolling eyes has become a standard for Hot Toys. Yeah, it really does kind of change the scene, right? And I mentioned to Chris earlier, I hated how Hot Toys with the Endor Luke Deluxe had the eyeballs set looking to the side. I just thought that was like the most foolish decision ever. It just kind of, it kind of limits you so much with what you could do with it. Excuse me. So the the rolling eyes thing is definitely a huge plus in my opinion. It really gives you so many more options for your display. Like and the hands, you guys know I always cry about the hands. That's another thing. The amount of hands they included with this one, a little bit more than we usually see. So definitely really exciting for sure. Lane, sorry, go ahead, Chris. No.
And then he can. What I don't get is they included that many hands, but it doesn't come with a whole lot for you to do with them other than like just.
Well, it's kind of like ass backwards with what they normally do. You know, you get like 20 accessories and 6 hands. Yeah, but I will say I love that they pointed out for those that don't have the previous Han Solo figure that they included newly sculpted hands, like new design hands specifically for this figure. I love that they have him kind of in that iconic meme pose where he's got his hands thrown up like that. So. And they gave us hands to be able to do that. How cool is that? It's just, that's kind of like a bit of fan service there, in my opinion. It's really cool, man. But Lane, we're going to move on to you. I know you and I were discussing this figure earlier, and Lane started making some points about the hair and stuff. So
I was the first one that you probably pointed out, poofy hair.
Yeah, so I told Lane, I said, once we come on stream to watch his mouth, or we'll just have to ban him. No, I'm just joking. But Lane, what are your thoughts on the head sculpt? What are your thoughts on the hair piece? How do you feel about the overall package? And we didn't say if we picked this one up or not. You might as well answer that because we were all forgetting. But we'll go back around and say. But go ahead, Lane. What are your thoughts on Han Solo?
Oh, Captain Poofy Hair looks fine. Otherwise,
Lane, not Captain Poofy Hair.
Yeah,
Boot him.
No, but the it looks a little too thick to me for the way I think it should. However, that's I think that's like, if that is the thing you are talking about is like the worst thing with a figure or something that's almost $300, then that means they're doing things right, because that's an easy, if they decide to update a little bit, cool. If they don't, well then it's not really going to bother me really that much one way or the other.
Yeah.
I love that they have all the different hands. Like, I'm hoping that is something that they start doing. It doesn't need to be for some stupid trooper or something like that, but for some of these like actual character things, like if they do a Batman or something like that, have some different like hand poses or something like that, because he's a martial artist, detective, whatever,
Right. It changes the way you can display it so much. That's why I'm always crying about the hands, because you can do so many different things. And Lane also, like, to the point of the rolling eyeballs, you could see a great use of the rolling eyeballs here in this shot right here, like kind of looking around the corner, checking to see who's there. It's just really cool.
The thing I like about this, I never even really considered how great he looks with the jacket on. Now,
so good.
Admittedly, I actually think more of when I see him with this, I think him being more like Deckard from
Blade Runner, yeah.
Blade Runner here actually with it, because he would always wear a big, because it's the same actor. Obviously, the hair is completely different and everything, but with him wearing the big jacket like that, it's just missing the rain, and I would think he's Deckard, pretty much. But I'm probably going to display him, I think, actually with the jacket, because I really, at least in the figure format here, really like how he looks with the jacket on. It gives a little bit, because this is mostly the thing that differentiates this look to how he looks in New Hope or, in Empire Strikes Back, is the jacket. I mean, otherwise, his outfit is almost like exactly the same.
And they did change the DL-44 a little bit as well. They didn't reuse the same mold, which is good to see.
Yeah, I think that and to answer your question, yes, he's already pre-ordered. Like,
that's what we like to hear, Lane. That's what we like to hear.
4 hours ago is like I've said, of the main trio of the heroes from the original trilogy, Han is my third favorite. I like Leia and Luke. Luke is my favorite character in all of Star Wars. But I like to finally get a Han. I need to own one of him, and I just think. I'm glad it doesn't look like just something they kind of crapped out, because sometimes Hot Toys for these anniversary stuff, even like the Empire one, we kind of go, they could have maybe put a little more effort into it. This one, it looks like it's a night that, we're only getting, we're only, I guess, maybe getting 3 figures here in the Return of the Jedi, which in comparison to Attack of the Clones, we kind of go, really? Maybe for even how good the movie is considered, even if Return is considered the least by most people of the original trilogy. But we got Sebastian Shaw, Darth Vader. Everybody wanted that.
Oh, yeah.
You get a C-3PO gold, like totally his
With Salacious
classic
Chrome,
original.
technically 2 figures, technically.
Yeah. You get him like in his gold, not dirty or anything like that, like the way original trilogy how he looked, and you get now this Han Solo, which is a totally new version of the character. So I think if this is the end, like he's the end of it, and it was just delayed for whatever reason a little bit, why they didn't get him out last year for pre-order, that makes me kind of consider a little bit differently how Return of the Jedi came out, because they put out 3 characters we didn't have for Return of the Jedi.
It's funny, Lane. Once we get through everybody's thoughts on the figure, I actually have a discussion about this figure kind of going in that direction. So hold some of those thoughts, because we're going to have another discussion about that, kind of an open discussion regarding that. But
overall, though, I guess the only thing will be is always the problem is the pleather boots.
Yeah.
But that's a little bothersome, because it's just like, really, we can't for this, do like you did for, because this, to me, this figure, now obviously we're speaking as an original fan, but this figure to me is as big, because you guys, they've done 2 now Harrison Ford figures in years, like at least more than half a decade now. They were willing to put leather and everything like that with Indiana, for really old man Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. Couldn't we, for this figure, even if it cost it to be like, I don't know, $295 or something like that, put a little extra money to give us leather boots? Like, this is the character. I mean, you may never make this guy again, at least while Harrison Ford's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously probably like the biggest letdown, if you will, with this figure. At this point, we kind of assume that's what
I'm saying.
I mean,
just do that.
You could argue, it depends on the person, but you could argue. I mean, I think it's fair to say you could be a little let down that they didn't change material. But
I mean,
I want to
own original, I guess, but New Hope, like a certain.
Well, the main issue with the original Han Solo, it's not only the material flaking, it's also the boots cave in on themselves. They don't have enough structural integrity in terms of how stiff they are. And you kind of see that in these photos. And we did have a question in the chat. I will pull that up. I want to get back to the photos where you could see the boots when he's on the stand, because you can kind of see it a little bit. So that's what worries me, because it looks super goofy on the A New Hope one. People have stuffed cotton balls and stuff in them, but you have to be careful with that as well, because you don't want to pack it too much where it's putting stress on the pleather.
Grand Inquisitor, you have to be a little bit with that with his boots.
Yeah, also the Imperial boots, a lot of them do that, but Hans are notorious for looking really bad from the back. It's almost like a banana or like a C-shaped curve in the back. If you guys have the A New Hope Han Solo, you know what I'm talking about. But really quickly, I'm not going to pull the comment back up because it fills so much of the screen, but Jack Jones, what's up, Jack Jones? Jack Jones says, I can't believe that Hot Toys actually gave us a new Han Solo. I recently bought the Tarkin and Vader 2-pack for 900 pounds. I wonder if this figure will increase the price of the original. That's tough to say. I would say probably, if I were to guess, the original is going to take a little bit of a dip right off the rip, just because a lot of people are kind of...
For the next couple of months. And then
right, exactly. Kind of like what happened with Darkside Anakin, when the Artisan Anakin was announced, everybody was hopeful. Oh, I'm going to get this one then. So the prices of Lightside Anakin and Darkside Anakin went down quite a bit. Then, everybody had to come back to reality once they released the actual numbers, and we saw kind of that shit show with Sideshow on getting the figure. Then everybody was like, well, I'm not going to pay those aftermarket prices. I'd rather pay half that and get the light side version. So those prices have gone back up. I've seen people on eBay and stuff paying over $500, multiple recent sold listings for light side Anakin. So it happens every single time a new version of a character is announced. So it's just something that kind of comes with the territory. They were ragging on me earlier in the Facebook chat because they thought I was like, oh, I'm worried about my New Hope Han Solo going down in value, and that's why I'm saying that. But realistically, that's just how it is, guys. Anything in this hobby, especially if you collect Hot Toys and it's an older figure, like if you're hunting down these older figures, always have in the back of your mind, if it's not that obscure of a character, that it's possible that Hot Toys will do another one that's better and possibly could decrease the value of yours. That's just how it is. That's part of the game. So, I know that's a loaded answer to your question, but let's see. I know there's some other comments in the chat. HG says that's one of the things that Sideshow did so good with the clone troopers, all of the gesturing hands. Yeah, and that's a great point. You have the, Hot Toys gave us the pointing fingers, but yeah, you got the double pointing fingers, the single pointed finger, the thumbs up, like all kinds of stuff. I actually went on Toy Anxiety about a year ago and just bought a bunch of Sideshow like default clone trooper hands, just because I thought they were so cool. I'm like, I can kind of mix and match these with my clones if I wanted to. Don says, let the nightmare speak. Well, the nightmare is about to speak because we're going to get Sean's thoughts now on Han Solo. Also, guys, I didn't mention on my turn, I pre-ordered 2 of these. I don't do duplicates a lot anymore, but for this one, it's such a special figure, and they really got me with these photos because, look, you guys know I'm going to have one with the duster. That's my favorite Han Solo look, but this is the picture that got me, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting 2. You have to do the meme pose. It's like if you have all 3 of the Spider-Man figures from No Way Home, you at least got to consider it, right? So for me, I'm like, I got to get 2. So John, John was in the chat earlier. He got my money for 2 of them, at least my pre-order deposit. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one, so I had to grab 2. But Sean, moving on to you. I know you're really excited for this one, and I want to hear your thoughts, Sean. Just like the same question for everybody else. What are your thoughts on the head sculpt? What are your thoughts on the comments about the hair piece? Do you share any similar thoughts on the hair piece? What are your thoughts overall on this figure?
I think the hair, the sculpted part or front part of it anyways, could be a little bit more messier. And I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
But the thickness and everything, it does throw it off a little bit. But I'm okay with it just because, it's Han Solo. It's been like 7 years since we've had the last one or something like that. I don't have any complaints about it at all. I ordered 2.
Nice.
I've been saving up my rewards, so I think I had like 312.
Oh yeah, you got a free Han Solo there.
Yeah. So now I only have to pay like 200 something for both of them.
Nice.
My only complaint is that the white shirt is way too white.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting to say. Yep.
I was going to agree with that because I was looking at this.
It's just a little bit too white, and the black vest is a little bit too faded. It needs to be a darker black. Other than that, everything else is good on it.
I was just gonna say a smart ass comment. I was like, don't worry about the whiteness of the shirt because it's gonna turn yellow over time like the A New Hope one did. So, thankfully mine didn't, but a lot of people had that issue.
T1000 did that. So
yeah.
I guess the silver lining is it's always easier to add color to this white than to take it away and make it whiter.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. If it was like overly dirty or anything, that'd be obviously more difficult to reverse. But yeah, good point, Sean. Yeah, you're certainly right about that for sure.
But overall with the wrinkles, I can't remember. I've been trying to find pictures. I'm just going to end up watching the movie tonight. But I kind of remember there's like a time where he looks downward and looks up and there's like wrinkles on his forehead.
No, there is a still that was being passed around on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely what the wrinkles look like. Like they're a little deep. I think they're deep kind of for this facial expression, but it's like, are they really that deep to where we couldn't see him in this facial expression at least some point in the film? I don't think so.
But, I guess we'll find out. I'm going to rewatch it again and see. I do like the base, and Sneaker brought up a good point about the base, so too, how it doesn't match. But it made me start thinking, what if Hot Toys know, okay, you've already had Return of the Jedi figures. Now you have something that you can go behind them, and it's elevated up a little bit higher than your other ones, and they're thinking about that.
That's a good point.
And yeah, Joey brought up like for people with DTOFs, which was what was kind of in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, if you have a DTOF, I used to have DTOFs. I remember Chewie. I'm like finagling him in there just because he's barely scraping by. So if we do get another Chewie, probably not going to fit in a DTOF on that base. I'm sorry, guys. I got to be honest with you because that's you're looking at like that versus this with the original display base, and again, he barely fit in there. Now, there are options. You can get those height adjusters for the DTOF, so it's not the end of the world. And I think a lot of you would probably adjust a shelf for Han and Chewie. But just keep that in mind. Stock configuration is probably not going to fit. You're probably going to miss out by like that much. Honestly, it's going
I
to be
got
a
my
decent amount.
Chewie, and he's literally a pinky away.
Yeah,
from-
it like
and
you
he's on
put
the
them in there,
base
you gotta.
too, so.
Yeah, when you put it, and
That's
that's the
with the
original base. It's like that. Now you're talking like this. It's going to be a different ball game there. But yeah, again, you could use the height adjusters and kind of adjust your shelves if you need to. But definitely something. Yeah, if you're newer collectors, guys, just have that in your mind. Okay, I have Detolfs. If they do a Chewbacca, he's not going to fit on that base. And if you want to display him with the bases because they're really cool looking, kind of plan that ahead. Grab some of those height shelf adjusters and then kind of plan accordingly. You know.
I mean, aren't Detolfs like 135, 140 now?
Steve, I
sell
think
them anymore.
I think Detolfs are gone, right? What was the new one
they
called?
I think
Yeah,
they
what-
They're
discontinued.
gone.
Yeah, they discontinued them now. But yeah, that's what they were at. Like around me, they were 130. But
Dude,
the
I
new
paid
ones,
50 for mine. That's crazy.
I know. Like I think
Yeah.
the first ones I got for $60. But yeah, they went up to like 130. Now they're discontinued. The new one is the
Blaleden?
Blaleden or
something like that.
Blaleden.
Love these
Blaleden,
names, dude. They just have so many
Blaleden is what
creative
I call it.
names.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's
cheaper to
smaller,
get
too.
Billy bookcase now.
It's smaller than the Detolf.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I don't work for IKEA, but the Billy bookcase, you know, that would be a good investment. And the shelves do move back. And forth.
It's like I don't work for Hot Toys. We seem like we work for them. We're like, yeah, dude, you got to get that Han Solo.
Yeah,
you got to get
can't
those.
fit as many figures in those newer ones, though. I heard it's like 2 or 3 at most.
Yeah.
6 scale.
Austin Nicholas is in the house. What's up, Austin? Looking like a proper X-Man over there in his new profile picture. I love that, dude. That's really cool. No problem, Jack. Collector's Entity is here. What's up, Collector's Entity? Collector's Entity says, hey, fellers, what's going to happen when Inart starts to do Star Wars figures? I got to be honest with you. I think as of right now, Hot Toys has a stranglehold on that that license and then some. So, unfortunately, as much as I would love to see more options, I don't think that. But you know, if that ever does happen, they kind of weasel their way in. I'm there for it. Anything Star Wars, you make it look good, I'm there for it. So, the more options, the better. But I do think Hot Toys probably has a stranglehold on that license. They've been working on that for a long, long time. Obviously, they've been making Star Wars figures for a long time. So, I think the first Star Wars Hot Toy was 2012, 2012,
It was
2013,
2016. It was
2016 was Bespin Luke.
No.
DX07 was the first Star
15.
Wars Hot Toy, right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
that was 2014 then.
Yeah, 2014.
I thought
Yeah,
that
that
was-
sounds right. That sounds right. I think Bespin
I
Luke was
thought
the
it was
very first.
15.
15 was like when they just barely like the Stormtrooper Luke or so.
Yeah,
or
that was Force Awakens year.
A New
right?
Hope Luke. A New Hope Luke was in 2015. Or
Interesting.
16.
Kevin says 2011.
2011. Oh yeah, I guess it is
He
that
had
one because
it.
that's the
Really?
yeah. I guess it is that
And my
one.
brother had it. So.
Yeah, that I guess that makes sense. We're giving him too much credit there. Carter Collectibles also says, "What's up, guys? Definitely like 10% sad that I sold off all of my Hot Toys and they finally finished the True of Return of the Jedi that I wanted. But 1-to-1 scale is amazing. I can't look back. Hey, that's okay, man. You found what works for you. I'm happy to make you jealous by having this guy in my collection, and I'm sure your brother
He'll get
is
to
as
come
well.
over and see it in mine.
Right. So he can sit there and look at it whenever he wants.
He's still happy.
X-Man Supreme is here. X-Man Supreme says, the shirt is too white. Oh boy, here come the woke brigade. Sean, you're getting roasted for your shirt
I am
comments,
like
man.
the most non-woke person in this group right now.
Look what Han Solo is doing to
It's
people.
okay.
It makes them
It's all
happy
right,
and it
you
tears
know.
them apart.
Just get it off your chest. Let's hear the woke joke now. Go ahead. Let's get it up.
Let's not. Clone Trooper says it looks like a dream that it seems like a dream they're actually discussing a new I know, dude. It almost doesn't seem real. But before we get too crazy, Mike, I want to move on to you, or Harrison, I should call you this stream. Dude, what are your thoughts on Han? I know you seem really excited for it this morning, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say. It seems like you have some interesting thoughts about the clothing as well, kind of along the lines of what Sean was saying. But what are your thoughts also on the hair sculpt and the head sculpt as a whole?
Well, when you follow a panel this illustrious and this brilliant, there's not too much more I can add. You guys
That's fair.
on
That's
every
fair.
thought that I had, so I don't want to, waste anybody's time by just repeating what you guys have said
I
better
would
than
care
I
for
can
your
say.
opinion.
But yeah, I mean, of course, like the hairs, like these are all nitpicks, but the color of the shirt, like you mentioned. Otherwise, the tailoring, the wrinkles don't bother me. The expression I think is cool. Harrison's a very expressive character actor, and
Yeah.
it's tough to choose an expression. You have to choose something because you don't want him looking expressionless and bland, especially Han Solo. You need that cockiness there, and that cockiness I think is captured in the eyes here. So
Absolutely.
that's the most important look for Han Solo for me, and I think they got it. And then especially like just a tilt of the head and movement of the eyes, you can really increase that too. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for him, and look at the detail on the hand there.
I know. I literally was just about to point that out. Look at the
Yeah.
vein work and incredible looking hands.
Really
like,
cool. And I like the three punch in the belt there, going through the belt. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
little details like that. Yeah, what more can you say? It's just so cool. And all the criticisms are valid. Anybody critiquing the hair and stuff like that, I totally get it. But I think like many people have said, you guys and people in the chat are like, is it perfect? No. Am I getting it? Yes. And I like those small imperfections will fade in the background once you see them in your collection. For me, I have not collected backwards. At least with OT stuff, I've only been doing this for just over a year, so I missed the companion pieces for this. So it's a little bit less. How do I put this? Those who've been waiting for this to complete that trio are probably more excited than I am, because for me this is like a figure on an island unto himself, right?
yeah.
But that's okay because I also have a part of my collection that's going to be 80s.
Right. This is like a
70s film
tribute
icon.
to an actor, right?
Yeah,
Harrison
exactly.
Ford. You can make it work that way. You don't, and
Don't
guys,
be-
like, if you don't have the money to go absolutely crazy in this hobby, you can do that. You don't have to have Han and Luke together. You don't have to have Luke and Leia together. You don't have to have Tony Stark with Thor. Like, you can perfectly be happy with just having your figure here to represent Marvel Universe as a whole. You have Iron Man, that's your favorite, and
Absolutely.
it works. It can work. It just depends on how you set it up. I've seen some beautiful Detolf collections where it's one per cubby, and I'm like, that looks
Oh,
super
totally.
clean. Me being, I want a whole film's worth in each muscle rack display.
So do I.
I can appreciate the different sides of it. With that being said, I loved my Detolfs. I loved how they look. I even told Chris, like, I know I have to evolve in this manner, but I will miss my Detolfs because I love how they look. They just look so clean.
Yeah.
But your collection evolves. You get
Damn
module
right.
cases, you build your own cases, what have you. That's just how it is.
Right.
As your collection grows, you have to expand as well.
And that was kind of my hang up for the last year, is that I avoided things that were one-offs or I couldn't like create an environment or a scene with, because I was so deep in Attack of the Clones and Clone Wars, and I was envisioning the world these were all going to inhabit. And then I started loosening up as there were figures that I was like, this is just too beautiful to pass up, like RoboCop and a few
Dude.
others, right? Now Harrison Ford or Han Solo, he is he's very much an ensemble character, but he's also a character that can stand alone on a shelf, instantly recognizable, and hold his own weight as an individual figure. So yeah, anybody who doesn't have the other stuff like me, and you want to talk yourself into this figure, he can stand alone for sure.
Joey. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I totally agree. Like, it's Harrison Ford. It's Han Solo. Like, he speaks for himself. He speaks volumes. And when people walk in your collection, they're gonna know that's Han Solo. At the very least, they'll know it's Harrison Ford. He's such a big, recognizable actor that kind of spans over many generations of age ranges, right? So certainly this figure could stand on its own, and I think would have a really happy place in your collection. We have a couple people saying what's up in the chat. People popping through. Collection Obsession says, wow, DX07. Oh, man, makes me sad to read this. DX07 double figure Luke Skywalker with the weather vane was $299 at release. How sad does that make you? Inflation is one hell of a thing, huh? $299. I mean, and back then, I'm sure I wasn't collecting Hot Toys quite back then. A lot of people were probably losing their minds at that price at that time. But look at us now. We're like, oh, $1,400 for our Inart Jokers that we're looking at? Oh, that's nothing. Crazy, man.
Not really, because at that time, people were paying like $125 for the Sideshow 1/6 scale G.I. Joe figures.
Yeah.
So that's not really...
Or
That's
Star
bad.
Wars ones.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely. I guess in comparison to some of those like crappier older sideshow releases that didn't really age very well, of course, I'm sure that was like a great deal. But still, it's just like the number at the time. The number attached to it, $300. It's still a lot of money. But now, that seems like such a great price. And X-Man Supreme's kind of going along with what we were talking about, Mike. He says Han Solo is just a cool dude. Any collection would be classed up with this guy. Absolutely. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Indiana Jones, Han Solo, Harrison Ford's that guy, man. He's definitely up there on my list in terms of favorite actors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's kind of over and done with when it comes to Star Wars stuff. He was kind of happy to be finally killed off in The Force Awakens. So it's just so funny to see anything with him with Star Wars now because he always has this kind of like sarcastic thing about it, which is cool.
I got a quick note here to touch on Mike's thing there. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I think just the A New Hope alone line aesthetically, one, looks the best, and also if you have like an 80s collection, if you just wanted to collect that line, I think you could tell Star Wars just as is because of the history and the love for those movies, and that's basically what started it anyways.
And that's why we do a lot of this, right? Like these are all like very passionate films for us, and I love Mike's comments about like you can kind of build around, an 80s shelf or, I'm doing that in my own collection. I have like a Western section that I'm building because I watched a lot of Western films like Clint Eastwood and stuff with my grandfather when I was a kid. So there's many different reasons why we collect stuff, but you don't have to stick to that norm of I need to have other Star Wars figures or other Marvel figures to kind of make the figure kind of stand on its own. Hot Toys 1/6 Masterpiece. I love the name, and of course, he's got the best look for Luke Skywalker with the Return of the Jedi Luke. Hello, love this figure. I still think I like my Stormtrooper Han head sculpt better. I have a Sideshow Bespin jacket. Going to order 2 of these. Chewie is next. Absolutely. And guys, I want to say, and again, we're gonna talk a little bit briefly about some more opportunities for figures, but I think that Bespin Han is probably on the horizon. If you guys don't think that the Hot Toys people are not super aware that people want that, they've been aware for I guess like 8 years now. They've been aware ever since people have been commenting. So I think that's more possible than ever. It's all timing, of course, but you never know. Me personally, I'm grabbing 2 of these, but I'm not gonna rush and do a Bespin Han because I just have faith that it's gonna be on the horizon somewhere. It's gonna come out. But guys, now that we've heard everybody's thoughts on the Han, I kind of want to have all these different discussions about what we could see moving forward with the Return of the Jedi line. My first kind of thought here is why Han Solo now after the Return of the Jedi 40th is over? Like, where does this fit in? Why did Howard Chan say, guys, let's drop the Han Solo right before Chinese New Year in 2024 after Return of the Jedi 40th is over? Well, a bit of history for those of you guys that are newer to the hobby. This is a very similar situation to what happened with the Empire Strikes Back 40th. We got a certain number of announcements for the actual 40th anniversary. And then the following year, a considerable amount of time later, we got Bespin Luke. And if you guys couldn't tell already, there's no Return of the Jedi 40th branding on this figure here. This is just a Return of the Jedi Han Solo. And that's the exact same thing they did with the Bespin Luke. What that tells me, guys, and we actually had some theories about this, and I'm glad to see that kind of what we were theorizing kind of came to fruition. Right now, when it comes to content, there's a bit of a dry spell, right? You have DC, which is kind of reorganizing itself into a 10-year plan, rehiring, new films in development. So there's going to be a dry spell for that. Also, guys, we know that Marvel is not in the best place right now in terms of fan reactions to the recent content. So with that being said, we kind of theorized this on the channel on a couple different live streams. We're like, maybe that's going to be the opportunity for Hot Toys to come out and do some other stuff they've been waiting for. Maybe maybe the scheduling just wasn't right for Return of the Jedi 40th. And I think we kind of saw that. Look at that crazy mad rush of releases towards the end of the year. I mean, the last 4 months of the year, they were going nuts, record numbers of releases like Sean pointed out to us. So, I mean, guys on the panel, I mean, I don't know if you share a similar opinion on this, but I think this is just, this is the right time to squeeze in stuff like this. And we talked about that dark side line, that random dark side line that we know nothing about. That was another one. I'm like, I can see why they're doing this, because there's going to be such a dry spell with these other IPs. They're going to want to continue to put out figures. They got to pay their bills, So what do you guys say? I mean, this is kind of a free, I guess, Mike, we'll start with you since you're jumping in. What are your thoughts on this as a whole? What are your thoughts on this situation, the timing of this Han Solo?
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Who knows how flexible they are in their announcements? Like, they might say, okay, we've got these we know we want to announce this year or this quarter or whatever, and they know there's competition out there. So, I mean, they stole the thunder, right, of that Joker. I mean, this is all anybody's talking about today.
Yeah, that timing was very specific, probably.
Right? So,
Yeah.
Could be that. Could be like that. And then, I guess, and not to be like a Debbie Downer, but I want to temper our expectations for that dark side line, only because it doesn't seem like a Hot Toys initiative, because Lego is doing this dark side line as well. So this sounds like a Disney thing, maybe to go along with the rumored Elseworlds tales that Disney's trying to go with Star Wars. So, because I'm hearing of like a dark Falcon, where it's going to be red and black. You're going to have a dark side Chewie with that set. This is for Lego. Dark side Chewie, dark side.
I know, are these like leaks? Because I know the Lego stuff gets leaked all the time.
There's a white Darth Vader.
Probably.
There's a white.
I would totally take, because we have that redeemed Darth Vader in the comics.
I think there's an evil 3PO.
Evil 3PO, evil Chewie. Yup. So, for me, that was like a little bit of a letdown. Like, I'm a Lego collector, so it's going to be cool to see that stuff. But I was hoping this was like Hot Toys just going crazy and just like having fun with it. But sounds more like it's a Disney initiative. But doesn't mean we can't see some cool stuff from that. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff from the Marvel side. I'm just looking forward to Deadpool like everybody else, and I don't really need anything else from Marvel other than I hope like an onslaught of characters from all of the cameos we're going to get in that film.
Yeah.
With Star Wars, I'm happy with the teases we've got so far. I mean, as far as like that one day where we got those like 3 different teases for the 25th anniversary, right, of episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, right? They're going to have a kind of a full plate with that stuff. And it's like, I think this is Star Wars time, guys. I really do. I think it's Star Wars time. I think it's our turn. We've gone back and forth with Marvel, DC, and a lot of us here on the panel, we collect a little bit from each. But I'm me personally, my bread and butter, where I started collecting was Star Wars, and it always going to be like my roots. Yeah. So to have kind of the pendulum sway in the other way with Star Wars, it's very exciting, right? And whether that dark side line kind of pans out, how we were kind of are they going to do Savage or Press? It's still cool to see them doing some different stuff. And like if we do get a redeemed Darth Vader, I would be totally with that. I have the Black Series one actually in my collection, and I think the contrast with the regular look from any of the films with that is just so cool. Yeah, and the story behind the character is just really neat. So I'm definitely really excited to see what they do with that line. But I'm not a Lego guy, so I don't really follow that stuff, and I know Chris does, and I guess you follow it a bit as well. So I didn't see anything about that. Chris may have brought it up to me, but honestly, Chris, if you did, it probably went right over my head.
Said, forget that guy.
Yeah,
and just on the Asajj stuff, like Hot Toys is so weird. I mean, we might get an Asajj that's just a Clone Wars release, right? Just randomly in 7 months from now. So they don't care about anniversary releases. They don't care about like releasing something. I mean, Days of Future Past Wolverine. There's just so many random things. So I'm really hopeful for this year. I think this year's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And yes, Big Dog Pound, Howard Chan is getting money. I mean, this release, I think, is going to be a big moneymaker for them. Seems like a lot of people are excited about Deadpool. I know I am as well. I'm a big Deadpool fan. I've got all of the Deadpool 2 Hot Toys in my collection, even the Dusty Deadpool. I waited so long. I'm like, I'll just get it. I found it for like $120. It's a funny little like nod to that final scene there. A lot of people are excited. Yeah, Adventures from the Bad again, it's like...
Could see that happening.
I would love to see that, man. Like, that's like, we have very little opportunity. And like, that's why that dark side line, like, oh, please do something like special like that. But it sounds like maybe
Adventures would be a great drop. Like Echo's Tech is the last one to come from Bad Batch. Yep. And then we already have like the other characters in the trailer. Fennec and Cad Bane are already out. this would be a perfect time to drop something Star Wars Bad Batch and just
It really
finish
would.
out Bad Batch figures with an Asajj
I
Ventress.
know.
But would you be disappointed to not get her in her classic bald, like Sith look?
Of course,
Or
but
Dark Side
I would
I
take
think,
any
like,
version.
I think
take
I would take any version, but also like they don't have to drop it necessarily Bad Batch labeled either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
They
think
could
it would
use
just
that as
be
an
a-
excuse. Yeah,
I
if
think
they're
it'd just be a great time to drop that figure in general because Asajj is going to be like fresh on the mind of people watching Bad Batch.
that's true.
Give us like I would rather have like the look that we're all used to, right?
Yeah.
From the previous stuff, but it would be a good time to drop that figure. You know,
So
I
one other
think,
question for you guys with the Dark Side line: would you guys rather see them expand into the lore, secondary characters, go deeper with the Dark Side character releases, or would you rather see them do Elseworld, flipping light side to dark side?
I'd rather see them go with all areas, all types of approach. Where, okay, let's do some 2 or 3 from Elseworld, 2 from actual Dark Side from OT and Clone Wars or something we've never touched before, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Or let's touch this. They're from Ahsoka, but we'll touch them on here instead of linking them with Ahsoka. I mean, there's so many different avenues. And like touch back to how we were just talking about Bad Batch. We didn't even have one announcement for Bad Batch season 2.
It's because no one wanted that ugly armor, I guess.
I don't think they're going to do
we could
anything.
have at
for
least
that show,
gotten
yeah.
Crosshair with his armor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have been cool to get him.
There's a lot of cool stuff in that trailer that I'm like, that'd be really cool as a figure. And Stevie, it's okay to disagree. But yeah, I think Stevie, I do think we might see that 89 Joker 2.0 this year as well. I'm sticking to that. I think it's going to squeeze itself in, and I'm all for it, dude. Trust me, I'm a DC collector as well. Batman's my favorite DC character, so anything Batman related, I'm here for it. But yeah, a lot of people are announcing Jokers recently. That's for sure.
I still think I mean, we're going to talk about in our Joker. I'll save some.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
There's,
I'll-
Thoughts.
To go over back on this, some come to mind because we had Tarkin. I would take, like more Imperial officers or some more Ewoks.
yeah, like
Fortuna.
the Death Star Trooper, Chris. That's what you want, right?
I've definitely been
Please say
waiting
yes.
for a Return of the Jedi Lando. I didn't pick up ESB because, like I said, I'm collecting
Yeah,
Return of
the
Jedi.
general
Yes,
look. The general look is really
Yeah.
dope.
for sure.
And Orlando, baby.
Yeah,
Only
Yeah.
Lando I'll buy. It's a running joke
Yeah.
for me as a collector that I buy a Lando. So I
dude,
just
you can
make
get
a
the other
joke
one
that I
so
want Endo
cheap. You
Orlando.
got to, dude.
Not cheap enough.
You
What
waiting
if it
for
really hooked me
$100
up?
bucks.
Hit me
Like
up.
if someone sent you one for like $100.
Oh, I'll buy it for $100.
Nah, you're waiting for
Lando. Hit me up.
you want a New Hope Lando. That's what you're waiting for, huh?
I want that. I want that Endor Lando, man. The
Oh,
Grail.
Like a
Future
new
Grail.
window, like an empty box or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It allows
Yeah.
Steve to put it off
yeah.
in
I
perpetuity.
want a new. And when they come out with that one, A New Hope. Yep. Then yep. Then I'll buy it.
Joe P says, pretty sure 40th anniversary stuff is a license on top of a license, meaning even if the anniversary logo is owned by Lucasfilm, it only allows it to be used for a certain time frame. I'm sure that's possible. I'm
point.
certainly not the expert on licensing, but yeah, I'm
sense.
sure. Like I said, it's very interesting how they did this with Bespin Luke, and they're now doing it with Han. I think that is a sign that they're probably going to be doing some more stuff, which kind of takes us into our next question. What is next from the Return of the Jedi line? Notice how I don't say this is it. I think there's more, guys. I do think there's more.
There's tons.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of stuff that they could do. I think they know that they'd be leaving money on the table. So I don't know what guys. I think the obvious one that everybody's kind of talking about today is Chewbacca, right? I mean, that's got to be the next obvious step. You give us Han Solo while everybody's paying for their Han Solo pre-orders. Why not throw in a Chewbacca there, right? Everybody's saying that artisan. It is a funny thing. I think the fur was like perfectly fine on the. I was telling Chris this earlier. If anything, I would want product more on the face, or at least have the eyes kind of pulled back more, just to get the hair out of his face a little bit more. It wasn't bad on the A New Hope. I actually really like the A New Hope one. Obviously, the Force Awakens one, I have it. I got it for like $70 local pickup. It's a travesty. It really is that bad. But I do think the A New Hope one, if they just kind of took that concept and improved it a little bit, it would look really nice. And it doesn't have to be artisan, because artisan, you put that on there, we're talking a lot of money for a wool rooted hair
that's like
Chewbacca.
$1,000 Chewbacca.
Right, that's going to be a lot of money, dude. If they're
look at the
charging
head sculpt,
$400
yeah.
for Anakin,
Look what they're already charging just to do a head sculpt rooted. Like if they did a wool implanted Chewbacca, yeah, you're gonna be paying big bucks.
that'd be a lot.
I think what they do with it is just fine.
Flock Chewbacca would be interesting.
Yeah, flocked. X-Man says, is there any kind of real-world lore for the origin of Bib Fortuna's name? I just imagine George Lucas in a seafood restaurant having a eureka moment when he drops tuna on his shirt. Dude, some of the
naming is wild.
Dude, some of the weirdest things, one of the weirdest things for me is watching the behind the scenes of them choosing the look for Anakin. Some of those looks were so bad.
Bro, those shoulder with the exposed
with the long, like mohawk
bald
looking
on the
thing.
side. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so their decision-making process, like the stuff they go through to come up with this stuff is so funny. But yeah, when you watch like a lot of these companies, how they come up, or a lot of these IPs, how they come up with naming conventions and stuff, it's just so crazy to me. Kumar's here, by the way. Kumar, sorry I didn't say what's up, guys. There's a lot of comments coming through. I apologize if I'm missing them. As I see them, I'll try to read them as we fit them in the discussion. Also, guys, we still have 63 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you're here, please consider dropping a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. I'd very much appreciate it. But Kumar says, with Inart releasing the Joaquin Phoenix Joker with a crazy price bail, I guess he's talking about Kojin Works. The only way Hot Toys to top that is Han Solo and a Colo and an 8-pack Ewok with a throne C-3PO. Dude, I would love... That was on my list as well. We got the C-3PO, but I wanted the throne with him. I wanted the throne, man. That's unfortunate, but I would love to see Ewoks. But yeah, guys, also in the comments, feel free to drop your... once from the Return of the Jedi line. Again, for me, I think the next obvious one is going to be a Chewbacca, and then also a Luke Skywalker seems pretty obvious to me as well. New head sculpt, rolling eyeballs, because again, I love my Return of the Jedi Luke Deluxe. I just hate that the eyeballs are looking to the left. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Like,
that is frustrating.
It's so frustrating because you have him like this with a saber in his hand. He's doing a force gesture, and then he's looking off to the side, and it just looks foolish. It looks totally foolish.
I wonder if they would 2.0 Endor Luke and do the same thing that they did, like a true 2.0 Endor Luke Deluxe, that you can turn him into, just like they did with this Han, where you have two separate looks. If they're going to do the same thing with Luke again and make like...
They could do three, technically. They could do,
could really capitalize
Endor,
on that,
they could do Jabba's Palace, and then they could do the my favorite look, which is the white triangle folded over. That's my favorite appearance of Luke. But yeah, they could really turn that into three different looks. And like you said, with this one, I mean, they're advertising it with two different looks, so kind of seems like it would make sense.
You can do a third look with this. You guys are making me think Jabba's Palace, right? So it's the carbonite. When he comes out of the carbonite, he's wearing this outfit without the vest and the jacket. It's the same white shirt. It's just like dirty.
Yeah, it's like he's sweaty and dirty.
Yeah. So I mean, you could try to pull that off too if you want.
You could.
The carbonite one.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, you could.
If you got the 3PO right, and you're kind of going down that route of like a Jabba's Palace scene, this figure could still work there.
Yeah, and I already said this before in my preview video where I was like kind of sharing my thoughts on what I would like to see. I would like to see like the bone accessory, like them include the bone that he picked up when he was fighting the Rancor. Like, yeah, they really could do like the ultimate Luke. I mean, those are like again, like we're thinking like the most obvious ones. If they don't go too crazy for the remainder of this line, those are the obvious ones where they're like, we can kind of for sure say that these are going to sell. So, Luke's a safe bet. Chewbacca's an absolute safe bet, especially with this. So I could definitely see him doing those two for sure. And then obviously like, Palpatine comes up. Hot Toys 16 Masterpiece says Jabba, Chewie, Yoda, Bib Fortuna, Ewoks, Carbonite Han. It's funny. I don't see Hot Toys touching the Carbonite Han. I actually think Sideshow did a pretty good job on that one. That's probably like one of their best Sideshow releases, honestly. And I don't have it. I need to get it because I love it. I think it looks great. It's just massive. It really is. But I do have plenty of room on my Return of the Jedi shelf at the moment. That's, of course, unless we see a crazy amount of stuff from the remainder of this line.
Yeah. You know what, though? Like, I know we're all talking about what we'd want from Return of the Jedi, but I want something off, like a TIE Fighter pilot or 9 Num or the Gamorrean Guard.
Gamorrean Guard would be amazing. Sideshow, those are actually really nice, but they're so expensive. They're really, really expensive, those old Gamorrean Guards.
Aliens are always welcome. for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. Aliens and droids, they don't get enough
Aliens
love.
and droids. Yep.
X-Man Supreme says, this is a question for us guys. If they were to attempt a Force Ghost, how do you guys think that would even work? Could that even work? Well, Black Series has done it. In the 6-inch format, they did it's like a netting that goes around, and honestly, it doesn't look that bad. I would love to see it. I don't know if Hot Toys would care to do that because it kind of seems like cheap for their kind of expectations for their figure. So I don't know if they would go that route, but it would be cool.
It's
I could see them
surprisingly-
doing like a power pose thing
Hmm.
where it's just fixed position and there's a light underneath it.
Yeah.
Below.
That'd be cool.
That
I feel
happen.
like it'd be so hard to meet like the realism standards doing that in 6 scale.
Yeah.
I feel like that
Exactly.
would
I
be
think it would just kind of be too cheap.
if they could pull
looking.
it off, and like actually make it look realistic somehow and like translucent with a light that you didn't see the light and like I feel like the technology wise, it's just be really difficult to do.
Yeah, it would be, like you said, it'd be very difficult to kind of make it not look cheap and kind of fit their standard of their figures. Stevie Weeby says Ewok 2.0 is a no-brainer. Yeah, I love my Wicket, and I opposed that one when it first came out because everybody was like, I hate it. I don't like it. I love it, so I would love to see more Ewoks as well. And they're so small, you can kind of just shove them all over in your display and make them look cool. Yeah, I'm totally for that. It's Jabba to close out the 40. I hope, but again, it's another one. I think Sideshow did such a fantastic job on their Jabba. For those that bought that one, I think they're going to be perfectly happy with that one. But I would not be opposed to it. I would totally be happy with a Jabba, that's for sure.
Do you have the newer one or the original one?
I don't have either one of them. I've seen the newer one in person though at a comic shop near me, and I think it looks great. Ian says, give us Dagobah. What's up, by the way, Ian? And Carlito as well. Carlito, what's going on, my friend? Ian says, give us Dagobah Luke with a strap shirt and a Yoda backpack. I actually have a custom that I did of that. I bought 2 Bespin Lukes, and one of them I turned into the Dagobah Luke, and I'm pretty happy with it. I just want to swap out the body. But for all intents and
That would be
purposes,
cool.
everybody that's coming to my collection room, they're like, that's really neat. And I'm like, yeah, I wish Hot Toys would have done it because I love that scene, like that whole training sequence and everything is just so iconic.
If they did like a seamless body Dagobah Luke, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be
I
awesome.
totally agree. And I was planning on doing that as a custom, but the sad thing is the Bespin Luke head sculpt has a neck, so it kind of limits you with the silicone bodies because they have that normal kind of peg neck on them. So I was a bit upset about that. But yeah, guys, it seems like we're kind of all on board with the different. Does anybody else have any other like random figures? You're like, I could see that happening.
I just think it's funny we're talking about it now because like I feel like the sentiment was like this is near dead at this point.
Yeah,
This is near dead, and this is literally the one thing we get that was the complete, just like the last hope of this line, and it's like one that obviously everybody wanted. So it's just crazy. I just want to point out Mike's comment too, real quick, about how I don't like. It's really hard to say this is a coincidence with all eyes on Inart Joker right now, and then JND dropping like an Armory teaser.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What does
not.
Hot Toys do? Like, we're gonna drop one of the biggest, most well-known,
Howie's
most
like
popular, most wanted characters during all of the hype of another company. Like, that's to me, that's just, it's too much of a it's too close in timing to say this is an actual coincidence.
They cost like a fifth of the price.
Yeah. Because like I said, I was reading that J&D price this morning and then found out what it was, and I completely forgot that I was even reading it once I saw this. You know what I mean? So
I totally agree. But yeah, absolutely. I think they were probably sitting back there thinking like, what should we pull out today? How can we respond to this? Oh, let's drop Han Solo. Let's see what happens. And when we're going to talk about the Inart Joker, I'm very, very excited for that. But I hate to say like, it went to the back of my mind just for today because this was like, again, Star Wars is my bread and butter. So, of course, Han Solo being announced, I'm going to be like, all right, everything else, see you later. But yeah, this is really exciting, guys. Again, I really, it looks like Chris is back in here. Yeah, I really appreciate all the enthusiasm because it makes you excited, right? It makes you, and there's a couple people that said, I think Big Dog Pound, and I forgot who else commented, said, oh, I just grabbed this on the stream while you guys were talking about it. So I'm glad that we can help you guys make a decision on that because this is just such an incredible figure. And again, it's a very special one because we've been waiting a while for another Han Solo. So.
My whole computer just froze over the whole excitement with this.
I think that's what it was too. Yeah, I was thinking that the moment you got kicked out, I was thinking that.
Yeah,
Beskar says a complete Jabba's palace set. Jabba, Ula, he wants them all. Yeah, I mean, dude, especially the Gamorrean guards. Max Rebo would be amazing. I would totally be there for the Max Rebo band as well.
Could you imagine
a custom slave Leia?
Yeah. Oh, the third party kit. Sorry, what did you say, Sean? I missed that.
1/6 Rancor.
Oof.
Sean, do you know how giant that would be?
I know that would be awesome.
It would,
I don't have
it
this.
would-
I would love it, but
that
I,
too.
Yeah,
don't
Remember
get
they're doing
Nate
the
started. He
Halo.
wants that Book of Boba Fett one.
I
I
know.
remember they're doing the HasLab Rancor, and it was like a 3 with arms.
Oh, that
spread
was-
out like
that
this.
was
It
a
was
Yeah,
joke.
that
3
was
feet
so
long. It
stupid.
was 3 feet long.
It looks so bad.
Did anybody
Yeah.
mention
It
like the
would've been
R2
crazy.
with the serving drink tray? Because I got like the side.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
we did not bring that up, but that is one absolutely that. And I actually I think
People
we
wanna
talked
see.
about that before. There was one that we would like to see. Yeah, Sideshow did it, but you guys know how I feel about that Sideshow R2. I'm gonna die on that.
Don't
hill. I
even
hated
say
it.
anything.
Yeah,
I
Chris is
know.
like,
Yeah. No, I know logic doesn't really always apply with Hot Toys, but I can't see them going more than a year without a companion for the C-3PO, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to get that R2 for this.
I
one,
think so. It's going to be an easy kind
so
of.
many R2s.
I know we got an
So
R2
many.
army at this point. It went from like the
mean,
one
they opened the
R2 Deluxe
movie.
selling for so much, and now the Force Awakens one. No one wants that one, of course, because you have
I
two
really like
better
the Attack of
options.
the Clones. Yeah, the
I
Attack of the
love it.
Clones one.
Love
Yeah,
it.
The weathered one is that. I mean, that's the only one I have. But
Is there really any reason it can't work for this film too, though? Right?
yeah.
It could.
Right, because it's a droid, and if you're a stickler for details, sure, it'd probably bother you, but the average person, it's gonna fit. Like I have my R5 with my original trilogy display, so
Yeah.
does not bother me. Guys, we're gonna move on from Han. Again, thank you so much for all the enthusiasm. Great thoughts.
Can I make one more comment though? Real quick,
Absolutely.
about Return of the Jedi. So I know a lot of people want the Royal Guards and the Emperor to be reissued, but after seeing the trailer from Bad Batch, I could see Hot Toys doing it, but not as a reissue for Return of the Jedi. They would just put it with the Bad Batch name for both the Emperor and the Royal Guard.
Yeah, that's a great
That's
point.
all I was gonna say.
I'd rather see Revenge of the Sith Sidious.
I would buy the Royal Guards because I was stupid and I had my DTOFs and I'm like, well, this doesn't look right with my throne. It's too small in there, so I didn't order them. So that was, if you guys ever want to know, one of the purchases I didn't make that I should have. There you go.
Oh,
Royal
you don't
Guards.
have a guard. Yeah.
I don't have any guards now, and the third party ones, I was like, I just can't get them because I know, because it's like in my head now. I'm like, I have to get those Hot Toys ones eventually. So.
Hey,
Stevie
eventually it'll go over.
says, has anyone checked on the folks that said another Han would never come because Howie detests Harrison? I mean, yeah, for the longest time, right? And it's a lot of these like older actors that we've had these conversations about. Jack Nicholson. I was talking to Chris earlier about Jack Nicholson. I'm on the side of I think we're gonna get another '89 Jack Nicholson Joker this year. I really do. And he is also one of them, and then Harrison Ford was another one, and it was true. Harrison wasn't playing nice with Disney for a long time because he, after he finally got out as Han Solo, he's like, cool, done with Disney for now. But we had this discussion, guys. I mean, there's receipts of the conversations we had. I think we were like pretty on point with some of the stuff we were saying. I remember we had a conversation when the Indiana Jones was first announced, and I was like, guys, I think. And a lot of people agreed in the chat as well, so kudos to you guys. I remember we were talking about it. We said, I think that this is a good sign that we may get a Han Solo finally, and here it is. Harrison's playing nice with Disney right now. He's going to be our Red Hulk. He's Indiana Jones again. And it looks like he's happy about the Star Wars licensing, so I guess they threw him a lot of money. That's why he's happy.
Maybe that money talks.
Well, he was
Yeah,
willing to
absolutely.
go. He was willing to go literally break a leg for his acting for Disney.
That is
right.
true. Take care,
so-
Beskar. Thank you so much for hanging out, bro. Guys, check out Beskar Kid on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. He's everywhere. But check him out. He does really great unboxing. He's overall just cool dude. So
We need more
definitely
boxes
check him out.
like this that take up a lot less space.
I totally agree. Action in the
Plenty of
Box is here.
boxes,
What's up,
nice.
Action in the Box? Great to
Here,
see you,
Cardo.
bro. Thank you so much for popping through. Yes, we are talking about Padme, guys. Sorry, we're going to have an open discussion on this one. We're just watching an MRC video. MRC, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you, as always, for having these videos ready to go when we're ready to talk about these figures on stream. TX Boy is here. TX says, yo, what's up, everyone? Looks like I'm just in time for the cakes. Look what Nate has done. He has polluted your guys' minds.
Brains.
No, I'm just joking. MRC Unboxing was doing this figure justice. Lighting was blowing out this piece in the blogger photos. And yes, so we're going to have an open discussion on this one, guys. Chris and I were having a little discussion when these photos first went up. I'm over here like pulling up to Smoothie King, just going to get my smoothie. And I'm talking to Chris. And Chris is like, gotta be honest with you, man. It's looking a little off at certain angles. And I'm like, Chris, you better stop it right now. He was like, yeah, and the hair. And we were just having a normal discussion, like, you have with your friends, if you have fellow like Hot Toy collector friends. somebody sees something that you don't and vice versa. And Chris was like telling me this, that, and the other. I'm like, dude, hold up the photos to the prototype. I'm telling you, it's very close to the prototype. If not, I think maybe at certain angles it's a little bit better. And, Chris actually went back and looked at it. He's like, dude, I think you're right. And he was like, honestly, like after seeing Sideshow's video today, they actually did it a lot of justice. And
which is shocking.
Right, because they very often do not. But I don't know about you guys. My initial reaction when this first released, I was like, that looks damn good. Like, not only the head sculpt do I love, because you guys know I'm a Natalie Portman simp. I always have been. But I love the proportions, and that's it's not the cakes thing that you guys are talking about. I think generally, like, they did a great job at picking a correct body for her body type. I think it looks really good. And you're going to see here, I have not watched this video. I started to watch it earlier, and I'm like, no, I have to wait for the stream. Because that's my normal thing, right? I don't watch these videos until the stream.
The paint details amazing.
Oh, dude, and, like, I don't know. Like, Hot Toys seems to be the only one so far in terms of, like, painting plastic that has got their metal paint down so well. Like, Sideshow, they've gotten better. They have gotten better. But it's just, like, something about their metal paint. It doesn't quite look like real metal. And I feel like Hot Toys, they've just nailed that. They have that process that I don't know if it's like vacuum metallized sometimes, depending on what it is. And Lane, you pointed out this base earlier. I don't know if Lane's here, but yeah, this is a great looking base.
Yeah.
And Lane was like,
I love it.
Lane's right
yeah,
here.
Lane pointed it out to me, and he was like, dude, that
Oh,
base looks really good. And it's so clean, right, guys? I think it's like so clean.
Right being when Anakin and Padme are having to avoid, the assembly line that's putting the droids together on Geonosis.
Yeah,
I actually really love that base. This is continuing where I don't love so much this like circular base for a hand. I'm not a huge fan of those necessarily, but how this kind of started, where if you think back Cobb Vanth, how they did with his and just had the couple little pieces you can attach to it and everything to help it kind of fit a scene or something, like he's walking out of a saloon or something like that.
They got that on
where
the
they
side.
where they have the extra pieces for this that you can attach to the side of the base and everything. I really want to see them doing more of that.
Yeah.
A little bit more standardized for their figures when they can. Unfortunately, they decided like to give us with Super Battle Droid, bring back the sandy human feet base again and make us go, why?
Right, and I think, Lane, that's part of why we see bases like this, and though they're simple, we can really appreciate it because Hot Toys, like, they dogged us for so long with those bases. It's like, they got to a point where they included that sand base with human footprints with IG-11. That's probably the most pissed off I've been at Hot Toys in a long time, just by the simple fact that it's like, this shows how much you care about, like, the small details, right? It made me so mad. I'm like, this is so asinine. Like, why would you and IG-11's feet, guys, they're like rectangles. So there's no way that it would work
I
ever.
won't lie, seeing that
Move us
base
down.
for the Super Battle Droid really annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris, it's the comment. I just want to, real quick, Moose Stream, it's great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And guys, he's one of our great members here of the community. And also, he is a Hotline Hero, so we got to shout him out. Thank you so much.
What's up, 12?
I like the. I really have to say for this. Jesus, I hate when he does that.
So how interesting is that little peg design there, guys? That's an
That is a
interesting
weird-
little...
I was going to ask you guys about that. Is that just to give more articulation
height.
hidden within the neck? Because
I think
the
it's
neck
because
doesn't move?
exactly. That's what I was going
Yeah.
to say. That was my theory on it when I first saw it, because I saw someone sharing a photo of it in the Facebook group earlier. I think that's what it is, because it seems like the neck's going to be a bit limited because it's like a silicone neck. You can see him kind of posing it here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is cool. It's
Yeah,
an
that's
interesting
smart.
design choice. It's like a not shitty version, kind of like or like an expanded on version of what they did with Andrew.
I'm so excited for this figure.
Oh, dude, the hair looks good. It looks good, and I don't know if you guys caught this. No one's gonna use that headpiece. Let's be real.
The headpiece is the one thing with it on there, like the little eye.
It's from the Clone Wars, so I don't see Natalie Portman in that attire, but
With
it's
the
smart.
A lot of people probably use it.
with the cape on, I think that fits totally. Like you can put that.
Oh yeah, like that, that
head-
shawl look. Yeah.
The headpiece just looks a little. It looks weird. Like for some, it just. I'm glad they did it, but like say the cloak that like Ahsoka Clone Wars come with, you could put over her and everything, so you can recreate the scene from the end of season 7. That worked on her figure, even though you had to do quite a bit to get it attached and stuff. It's just something with it for this didn't translate completely. It's not the worst thing we've ever seen, but I can't imagine posing.
Yeah, it's just, again, I just don't see Natalie Portman in that outfit. I think the outfit looks nice. It's just not for me. And like, I don't want to cover up this head sculpt. Again, for me, guys, I think this head sculpt's great. I love it. I also love, for those that are going to use that headpiece, the actual back of the hair pulls off. I don't know if you guys caught that.
That's cool.
Do you see this? It's got like a white underbody. I guess maybe the fabric is transparent almost.
Right,
and
so
they
it
don't want
doesn't
to take it away.
exactly. I think that's what they did there. So it doesn't show through, which is pretty smart because
Smart.
Cavill, remember Cavill? They did the chrome bodies because that passed through the fabric and you could see it. So it makes sense that they would kind of make that decision.
I like the chrome bands too.
Yeah, those are great. Well, that's what's so interesting about the design aesthetic from this, right? Because the first 3 films were the lived-in universe, the avoidance of any Flash Gordon look.
Yeah.
And then this film, she's got that kind of pop sci-fi gun.
Yeah, Power Ranger.
Aesthetic. Yeah, so that was really, really cool. But just a quick note on that, the garment accessory. Going back to Lego again, the way they include things in Lego sets is because they predetermine what they want that set to cost. Then they have to add the pieces and the builds to get to that cost. So you'll see sometimes, like for the Atari, right? They must have said, okay, we want this Atari. This Atari has to cost $240.
Right.
Well, the pieces they used to make the Atari wouldn't have gotten to that. So they included like a bunch of side add-on things. And I would not be surprised if Hot Toys has that mandate too. Like, all right, she's got to be $290. Wow, how do we get her to $290? So I think that's why you see these like other little things thrown in there, rather than give us a lesser.
That's a good point.
Yeah, instead of giving us a lesser expensive figure, they want to hit whatever they want for that year. So
it's like Mace Windu too. Like he came with the Clone Wars gear as well, which is pretty cool.
I don't know.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't really add much value to us, and sometimes it does.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. Like the Mace Windu thing, obviously, a lot of us are like, that's really cool. They included that. Real quick, Chunker says the attachments is to give room for rolling eyes. It's interesting. Maybe the way that the sculpt is shaped or something on the inside. I didn't consider that. That's actually a good point. Tron says, I hope they make a Queen Amidala figure. Yeah, so for now, I got that third-party figure on the way. The Art Toy, I think the company is Art Toys. I'm excited to have that one as a placeholder. By the way, love the name because I know Tron 2 is on the horizon. Or excuse me, not Tron 2. We're past Tron 2. But I'm really excited to see the new Tron film. So I can't wait to see if Hot Toys goes back to the drawing board with that one because they gave us a decent amount of Tron stuff before. So that's actually, if you guys want to know like what's high on my list for like grails I want to hunt down, I want the Sam Flynn Light Cycle and Kevin Flynn. Those are like high. And I know Kevin Flynn's very cheap, but it's like I want to get the Sam Flynn first. Because then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can get Kevin. I don't want to have Kevin by himself. And Sam's like a pretty expensive piece.
I just wish they were like actually continuing the story from Tron. Like seeing
I know
Tron third one just is like what?
I know. Yeah.
But do you think because of the torso here, like when he was having it crunch, it was almost like you couldn't see a seam. Do you think there's like a silicone body under that, like for at least the torso or padding? Because like it looked like she had some definition in the stomach area.
That's a good question.
I know a lot of people might customize it if they can, or like her other alternative.
So I have
scratched.
I have wondered about a custom version of this with the damage and stuff from Geonosis. I'm hoping, because it is something I'm interested in, I have spoken to somebody about it, I'm hoping that underneath it there is a silicone body in the abdominal section at least. Because sometimes they do that with the female characters because of, I'm not trying to be weird here, but like because of the breast, there's like a silicone portion there. And you could feel it like on the Rey figure. When I was unboxing her, I was just kind of feeling around the body to see how it was constructed, and maybe with Ahsoka as well. There's like a silicone padding under there to kind of hold that shape. So it's very possible that there could be some sort of silicone components under there.
You know how they sell those like neck socks for Spider-Man?
Socks?
Yeah. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So that you can make
like it
the
looks
costume
like an
disappear.
actual neck. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if you were to like get the shirt how you wanted it, and then if somebody were to make one of those for her, you pull it up over the legs and it's tight around the torso, looking like skin.
Oh,
The
yeah.
way the neck works on like some of the Spider-Man figures.
Interesting.
I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, that's interesting
Probably
for
could. It
sure.
would have to be like really detailed and like.
You'd have to give
I
her a
guess-
belly button. That would be the challenge.
I was gonna say
know.
it has to be like.
Yeah, because she's got that whole like
specific.
lower section cut off.
Yeah.
Zombie said, anyone catch the mention of handcuffs and a chain in the description on the release for this, but nowhere to be seen? Thought we were getting some surprise. Oh man, that
I know.
sucks.
I can't believe they missed it with like it would have been a cool.
mean, I
diorama
get
piece
why-
behind them too, like with Anakin too.
Or like the pillars that they were attached
what I'm
to.
saying.
That would have been
Oh
amazing.
my god, yeah, I'd love those
yeah,
three
that would have been
creatures
pretty
too.
cool. I didn't even think about that.
But this looks great. How many of you guys are? And yeah, Big Dog Pen makes a great point. Don't eat some flaming hot Cheetos and pose this
sure.
figure because you're not gonna have a great day. But how many of you guys actually picked this one up? I have one of these on order. I think I got mine through Sideshow. And perfect timing because I think I have one payment left that charges next month. So obviously, guys, Chinese New Year is about to start, or it has started. So I think it has started right at this point. I don't know.
Day one to all Attack of the Clones.
I think it's like next week officially
is
or
it next
something, but
week?
like
Next
nobody's
week.
really working right now. The factories are empty and stuff. I heard.
Gosh.
somebody
Oh,
say.
so that's probably that makes sense. That's probably why Kit is like busting his ass right now to get all these figures out. That makes sense. Yeah. So I guess from Sideshow, it's going to be a bit before we see this one because you're going to have that gap where they're not shipping anything out. So that's a good thing if you got pay in full invoices or anything because you're going to have a little bit of time to sort some money out for that. But yeah, she looks great, guys. I don't know about you all, but I'm very satisfied with the final product. Again, like Lane said, I think that base is really clean looking. I'm a huge fan of that, and it's nice to see that at least lately they've been doing some more unique bases. I love that new like cog style display base that they've been doing. I just think it's a step in the right direction. That sand base is BS. I don't want to see that ever again. It popped up recently. I forgot what figure had the sand base. A figure that was released recently. I can't remember, but definitely really hyped for this one. Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't screw it up because, oftentimes figures like this, they kind of go by the wayside and then, Hot Toys is like, oh, I guess we got to put that Padme out. And I think a lot of people might be like kind of on the fence about this one if they didn't order it because... we got that the Phantom Menace 25th licensing announced, so they're obviously going to do some sort of Padme. For me, and I told you guys before, I mentioned on a previous stream, my mind goes to the hangar scene outfit that she's wearing because they can kind of reuse this sculpt and tweak it a little bit. Obviously, with Queen Amidala, they're kind of rebuilding that thing from the ground up for the most part. I feel like they'll probably go with that escape look. Which I'm cool with. I love the contrast of that kind of like, I guess it's like a grayish color tunic that she's wearing. I'd be cool with that. Dude, this is so goofy looking.
The only issue I have with this figure is still undecided of where I'm going to put her.
Yeah. I'm prepared because I've got like a Attack of the Clones / Revenge of the Sith display set up. I'm going to kind of mix those two films just because I think it'll look cool. Thank you, Scooby-Wan. That's the one that recently had the sand base.
Or a trooper or something.
Yeah, you can make it work. There's a lot of different stuff. I mean, and you've got the Attack of the Clones C-3PO and stuff. You can make them fit together.
Yeah.
I know you have a DTOF, so you kind of have to
put-
plan the scenes out more, but...
Yeah, her pants look much better. Like when she's kind of crouched or posed, they really cinch up a little bit. They look less baggy.
Yeah.
It's good to see that in this video.
Yeah, I agree. Zombie says, cannot wait for it. Looks amazing. What irked me about those accessories is they mentioned them with the block. Yeah, I agree with that. I was kind of hoping for that, but then once we didn't see that battle damage look, I was like, guess we won't be getting that stuff, which is okay. I understand it. What kind of hat is she wearing? This is from the Clone Wars. This is like, their way of like kind of tying in those Clone Wars accessories. Natalie Portman never wears this headpiece. This is just kind of their way of tying it in with this figure because she does wear it in the Clone Wars cartoons.
Not to be that guy, but this is actually from a deleted scene in episode 2. And they reworked this in a little bit of style and color for Clone Wars. It's purple.
Oh,
in
so
Clone Wars.
so it's originally from a deleted scene. I didn't
Yep.
know that. I just remember seeing it from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, there's
She
behind the
still has
scenes
the cape, though.
photos.
In the branding, like in the mention of these accessories, it says Clone Wars, doesn't it? When they actually advertise it with this figure, I think that's how they advertised it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, they might have.
I didn't know that was from a deleted scene though. That's cool.
I'm
That's
gonna
good
send
to
you
know.
some
but I mean, the
pictures,
cape
yeah.
part is part of the movie.
Right. No, it's not. It's not the
Running
cape.
through the
It's
droid factory.
strictly the headpiece. That's like an additional thing that she didn't wear in the actual film. Better. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm all for a Jar Jar. Absolutely all for a Jar Jar. I know some people hate on the character. I love Jar Jar, so I'm all for it. Keira Knightley, Padme. We got the Padme clone going. Well, apparently everybody thinks that that third party is a more suitable Keira Knightley than a Natalie Portman because the likeness is a little off. Oh, did it say concept? I mean, I'm happy to admit I'm wrong. Let me actually pull the listing up on the side. Let me see.
Just sent you some pictures on Instagram.
Okay, give me 1 sec. Let me I want to pull up the Hot Toys listing here on my screen. Let's see. Because I want to correct myself here if I'm wrong. What's in the box? Authentic detailed lightness. Yeah, we get all that. We get all that.
I think it says it on the blogger, but like when they first the pre-order photos, it'll say usually like as seen in.
Yeah, Sideshow's listing. I can't even. They're just calling it. It's just saying one headpiece, one beige colored cape. But here we go. Bonus. Yeah, it says bonus headpiece from Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. So I stand corrected. I guess it is from that deleted scene, and the Clone Wars is kind of an afterthought. Interesting. Thank you for pointing that out. Mike says we're all about that guy life. That's okay. So someone's got to be that guy sometimes. That's okay. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one, guys. We're an hour and 45 in, so as much as I would like to spend more time on Padme, I do want to move on. If anybody has any additional thoughts, because we still got to talk about the Catwoman before Lane comes to my house and beats me up because he said he's going to, and we got to talk about the Inart Jokers, which I know a lot of people are going to have some thoughts on. Does anybody have any additional thoughts on Padme before we move on to the Catwoman? Awesome. Well, we're going to move on to Catwoman, guys. Again, really excited. I think this product turned out great. Overall, I'm very happy with it. Love the split cut boots and everything as well. Just overall, I think Hot Toys did a fantastic
one of the
job.
improvements over the years over, unfortunately, Jin or so in disguise boots that can actually move.
Well, here we are, guys. And again, we're going to have an open discussion on this one. We're talking about Catwoman, who's finally here. We did talk about her last week, guys. There were some rumors. Sean, it looks like Sean needs to bounce. So, Sean, did you want to share any thoughts on the way out about Catwoman before you dip out?
Yeah. So I have the original one. And looking at the pictures from last night, I'm not going to really know until I have it in hand. But the suit looks like it's made out of different material. Mm-hmm. And so does the boots. The head sculpt, the paint on the head sculpt is completely different. However, I'm not going to really know for certain until I get them side by side to know the difference. The original, the mask doesn't come off, and I don't think this mask comes off either. I know that's a lot of people were asking questions about last night.
There's been pictures supposedly of it shown off the mask.
Oh, I thought that was a fake. That was already debunked.
Maybe. Oh, maybe. I don't know. It just,
but it does look better. At least the pictures, so maybe the photographer had some skill to make it look better. But
well, the first one, the mask did come off.
Huh?
The first one, the mask did come off.
No, it doesn't. I have the first one, and it doesn't come off. No,
Yeah,
I'm going to find out right now. I'm going to go over there and grab it, and I could have taken it off the entire time. Then I'm going to be pissed.
Don't get.
Go get it. Let's see.
Go get it. Really quick, guys.
I thought they said it couldn't. I thought
really
this
quick,
was
guys.
new.
I completely just stiff-armed Mike when he sent me the photo. Here's the photo here that Mike's talking about. I've actually never seen this photo before, so that's this is new to me. I've never actually seen this photo, so that's actually really cool. So there she is in her little headpiece that is from the I guess from this deleted scene here. That's really cool. Why does that look like a little bit older Jango Fett with a goatee?
Well, that is the man we had to thank for Rogue One, actually. That was his concept. Yeah. His name escapes me at the moment right now, but yeah.
Interesting. The more you know. But Sean,
I gotta head out, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on everything tonight. Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
See you, bro. Make choices. Later.
Yeah, I will
Some
make
sort
good
of choices.
choices.
Oh, good ones. Good ones. Yeah.
What Lane wants me to do.
See you, man.
Take care. So yeah, guys, Catwoman is here. We brought it up on last stream. Everybody was like theorizing, like, oh, what if they go back and give it wool rooted hair? We kind of knew that wasn't going to happen, right? This figure was relatively inexpensive. They've already collected the money for it a long time ago. So unfortunately, we do have our nylon hair. It doesn't look terrible in these photos. However, I do foresee it's going to be the same case over time, where a little humidity is going to send it springing all over the place. So try your best not to touch it as much. The thing I'm most concerned about, or not concerned, but the thing that I was really hoping to see was a change in material on the boots. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It does look like a nicer material used here, even like if we're talking about like out of the box, the original one from whenever that was that came out. Was it 2012 or something? The original one came out. I do think the boot material looks nicer. Is it pleather? It's hard to tell. I don't know if they use like a plasticky material, because everybody's been commenting on this nonstop, obviously. The proportions are looking pretty good. I think they did a good job at kind of nailing that kind of tapered waist. And she does obviously have a bit larger thighs, and she's wearing like a kind of a skin tight outfit. So I think they did a pretty good job there. In terms of the mask on lightness, guys, the mask does come off. We were looking at photos earlier in the Facebook group. Someone shared some photos of the mask off. It doesn't look the best with the mask off, but also, like, I don't know about you all who are getting this figure. For me personally, I'm not going to take the mask off. I'm just not going to. For me, like, the most iconic look for Catwoman is kind of her whole attire. She's hiding her identity, but barely, right? She's got just a little mask on her face, but that's kind of like the charm of the character, right?
Just one thing to say about that, though. With the mask up, you hide that hairline, which is the most dangerous part of that hair. The most least
that's a good argument for
part
sure.
of the hair.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
there's an advantage to that.
That's true. If that hairline does bother you, you could kind of, and I do like that look as well. I think that's probably like the best of both worlds, kind of having the mask pulled up on the forehead. Yeah. So I do have the picture with the mask off. I think if someone could send it to me again.
It's in your chat
Yes.
as well. I sent that in your
Is this mask off a mod though?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It for sure just slips up like that.
It just comes off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Connor.
Lane. Go ahead.
So I just sent to you because I was just checking Justin's review of the original 1.0. I sent you a couple of the head sculpt without the mask on.
Oh, nightmare.
Dang, burn, Sean, burn.
Yeah, I sent them to Sean too.
I'm surprised
Yeah,
they
I got
didn't
it.
advertise. I'm surprised they didn't like.
They have not.
Yeah, I'm
shown
really
you
It's
surprised
such a
they
missed
didn't show
opportunity.
it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't show. Why not show that in the photos? Like when you're releasing a figure or like announcing a figure, why not show that to people what
Yikes.
it looks like without the the mask on? I feel like that's kind of like they didn't even put it in the description that it was removable. It's just a
I
weird
know.
omission.
It's kind of like
in my
a
opinion.
Peacemaker. There is a face under there. Obviously, there's like a slit under the eyes, but
Yeah.
they never mentioned that there was a head sculpt under there either. Let me
Yeah.
I was sending to you just so you can see that. Maybe
Check your Instagram, Connor.
Okay.
You could comparison a little bit. The original. It's not going to be. It's not a good ankle at all, but kind of see maybe the details for the front of that facial sculpt in comparison to the 2.0. Just kind of to see if there has been maybe any improvements to it.
I think she looks good without the mask.
We do have a photo. Let me pull this up. This is the photo I think that I saw earlier of her with the mask off. This is the new version I'm pulling up now, guys. Here's her with the mask off. I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it's like a crazy likeness. It's probably like a 7.5 for me with the mask up, but it still looks good.
It's
Everybody's
not as good
hating
as
on
like. It's not as good as the JMD or like the Queen Studios head sculpts, but they're like the last couple of years, so.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad though. I really don't.
Here's the thing, it might be too, because they have to get that mask on her and the proportions have to look better that way, I guess. Maybe that's why it's off. Because
Possibly.
I would assume skin naturally like sinks in or hair sinks in, so that could be throwing you off as well.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think it certainly looks like Anne Hathaway. Like I think they did a pretty good job with the sculpt, and it's definitely huge. Someone had a photo actually in the Facebook chat of the two next to each other. And no, this is the Hot Toys figure, by the way.
This looks better than some of the photos that came out. Like,
I agree. Yeah, and
I didn't think that. I
People
wasn't really
always
all that
pick
impressed with
worse
the photos, to be
photos.
honest.
It's gonna, honestly, when I think about for photos, other than the bloggers, like if we would see from this, there are some guy, some of the collectors and stuff who do some of the pickers, like Mike, who does a lot of the predators and stuff with a lot of the backgrounds, and some of the other guys who do really dynamic pictures and stuff. I want to see them kind of do some angles for like some of the head sculpts, like how this one looks and everything. Because with their lighting and stuff, I think it gets you a little bit better idea for, how the head sculpts look. Now, do I think for this one they worried about necessarily putting as much time into the head sculpt for making it look like Anne? Because all the advertising was with the mask on, and 95% of people are going to put it with the mask on because that's what kind of makes her Catwoman, with that look and everything. But I agree. I think this head sculpt is like, if we were talking about head sculpts tonight for figures we talked, this looks like way down from Harrison in Han Solo.
Yeah, and also I think with the goggles pulled down, it's a more complete look.
Yeah, she looks like she did in the movie with the goggles.
Right, it looks like Anne Hathaway to me. It's not perfect. Again, I agree. It's not like the Han Solo sculpt. If we're talking about like good female sculpts recently, I don't think it's as good as Padme. I don't think it's as good as the Shuri Black Panther figure coming out. That sculpt's like mind blowing, but it's still pretty decent.
It's so funny how we see things so differently, right? Because I think she looks better than Padme. I think she looks fantastic here, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing it differently.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like, I think the famous phrase for the head sculpts is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, I absolutely see her here, and I think it's a solid sculpt. It's just, I think that Padme's better personally, but
I
on
think we
board with
compare.
Padme.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of look how much that has even changed. Just how that was where we're complaining.
I'm on board
even
with
though it's
Padme,
that
too.
picture,
That dude's
the
mean.
original one and stuff. Like, I'm just surprised they were able to pose her with a gun in some actual picture showing up. Usually, Warner Brothers doesn't like, weapons being shown at all half the time with this stuff for, advertising purposes. Oh yeah, I mean, I would hope it would be better.
Dude, and again, I mean this
like 9 or 10 years.
I mean this in the most non-creepy way possible. They did such a good job on like the thigh proportions and everything. It looks really good. Like it looks like Anne Hathaway in the suit and not just an action figure. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
this sells me more than the bike photo. This sells me more.
Yeah,
This base is really cool.
I like this
Yeah,
little
it
base. This little base.
Bane has the
stuff like
same
that.
base, I think, right? I think they gave him the same base.
Yeah.
They're
They
gonna
did.
look really cool next to each other.
They really will.
Shit.
Are you saying you want to be choked
Hey,
out by
there's
them?
Nate.
Mike?
There's the Nate first bit. I mean,
That
I'm
is
not-
the picture I used in the thumbnail.
yeah, I know. But
Again,
well,
the concerning hair.
the hair. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Which it does feel like, because I'll tell you, like you've heard me say now for over 3 years, I had this figure on pre-order, and I really, I literally think I put in one of the chats that I've gotten since I pre-ordered this in January 2021. I think I've gotten from pre-order otherwise like 30-some figures in, or more.
Yeah.
Since this one went up for pre-order, and I'm just like we couldn't. I mean, we don't know what enhancements they made to improve it to make it where it's at now, and stuff exactly. But if they're using different material for the body, honestly, I care more that the suit and stuff like you guys.
The suit material looks very nice. I will say that. And like well, I'm gonna have to put if the boots aren't pleather, I'm putting her on the bike. I want
I
to
know
see.
a lot of people want to do
Yeah.
that, but I've said if you want that pose to be the best it can be, there was that statue, and that could be
I like
your
this pose here
representation.
though. This
You can
pose looks
leave
really
it,
good.
Honestly, I
You're
going to
be putting stress on it.
Yeah.
I want to put her on the Pattinson bat cycle. I think she would look really good on it.
She'd look good on anything, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I know, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
where you can have it look cool, where being kind of maybe an action thing, but you're not having.
Oh,
Like,
what a good
stress.
pose.
Look
That
at
was
that
cool.
shot, man.
That's like
And-
sassy Catwoman right there.
and I'm not
through
trying to
through.
sound pervy either, but that's what that's like comic
Right,
book
it's that
posing
sassiness
right
to
there.
it,
100%.
That's a great
Mike's
pose.
trolling over
Sneaker
here.
as a guy who's kind of dipping his toe more so into the Batman universe. What do you think? What do you think, Bird?
Yeah, so like I need to get some other Batman stuff first. But I mean, I think it's tough. I mean, I don't know. like the head sculpt for me is just there's just something. Yeah, I think it's just there's something off to me about it. I think it's a cool figure. I don't like they almost like you can see her cheeks like they indented.
Mm-hmm.
They look
like
a little
made her
shallow.
cheek. Yeah, they look a
Yeah.
little shallow. Like they indented from the
I thought the
prototype,
same thing.
which is
Yeah.
I just wonder like that doesn't seem like something you necessarily like. Why make that change? Like that can't be something that's like difficult to
Yeah,
keep
that's
on a
true.
sculpt, right? You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
look at her cheek even in this photo. It's just so narrow right there. It's just so indented.
Yeah.
I would actually like to get this figure at some point, to be honest. But first I need to get an actual like Dark Knight Batman.
Yeah.
And dude,
I'm
the
waiting
You're
for
gonna have
DX19.
plenty of- you got a J&D option, sir. Time to,
There
you
you
can
go.
order
Just
it
start-
right now.
So like I'm kind of torn about like potentially doing the like getting the armory, but I don't have any desire to have like the power pose Bruce Wayne. I'm just so bummed that they're gatekeeping the updated version of the bat suit behind
Yeah, they got
like,
me
a
with that
paywall.
one.
It's just that
But I always
really
wanted the
bothers me.
armory, so.
Yeah, like and the armory is really cool. I think it looks awesome, but I have no need for the
But
power
Steve,
pose.
Look at the armory now. Like I was talking to Chris about this earlier. Look how good of a price that armory looks like when you see the new J&D armory.
yeah.
How crazy is that to think
And then
about?
even if you look at
And to-
that, even if you look at the price of it, like you're getting like even you're gonna have a Batman and an armory.
Exactly.
Like even with the price of that, like I guess it's a good value. It's a good
It's
value.
a
I told
good value.
Connor
That power
this-
pose figure is very inexpensive if you think about it as a set, right?
Yeah, if you look at it
And
like
for
that,
me,
yeah.
it gives me, I don't have to feel like kind of bad about hiding the cowl or putting the cowl on his arm like every other helmeted Star Wars figure I have. Like
Right.
in this case, like I can display a Bruce Wayne properly, you know?
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
told-
They just got to
I
fix
told
the
Connor
salad
this.
fingers that he has that are like fused into his arm. They need to fix
Now,
that
the
part.
one thing
but-
you have
What were you
for
saying
this
now?
one,
I was just saying, I told Connor this earlier that you could have the Batman, like with the light signal, his bat cycle, and then you can also get the Dark Knight and the tumbler, and with some points or codes, or even without that, it's still cheaper than J&D's are,
yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
crazy, Brown.
Yeah, it's
which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough road for me to go. Like I would, as this is my problem is once I go down that road, like if I get this figure, like I need the Bat Pod. I'd have to
Yeah,
get the
I have
Bat
it.
Pod.
And you can get the
then-
Bat Pod so cheap right now,
and
whether
then,
it's
like,
secondary market
I
or.
just passed on the Tumbler. I was almost bought the
Oh, you
Tumbler at
did?
35.
Dude, I
did,
got it,
passed.
Steve.
Oh,
So
I thought
so
I got
Connor, I
you
didn't
now.
tell you this, but I just bought the Jazz Inc. 22 Batmobile.
Oh, I saw you. I saw your little story,
yeah,
bro.
okay.
I've been watching you.
You've been
Steve
keeping
is a
an- you've been
menace
keeping
on the
eyes on me.
secondary market the past couple
Saw your
weeks, dude.
little
I've been
story.
watching.
I'm a
PM me.
I'm a market boss.
I
dude.
can't message you. I'm like, this dude's
Now,
ready to rock.
I would
bro.
have I would have a question with you guys with timing and stuff. Now this finally coming out after it probably should have been out, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something. But do you think we're now, because we're seeing with J&D and Inart doing or going to be having with the Batman like Joker and Bale Batman, do you think we're going to see other versions of her now, though, from those companies probably?
I think eventually Inart will do a Catwoman, but it's a ways down the road.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so far.
I think
Like,
I think probably Wonder Woman's. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Steve is probably next on their list for
Yeah,
a female DC
and
character.
like even Bale Batman is like there. It's a ways out. Like basically, I know like John from Inart's been on a couple streams answering questions, and he said pretty much like they are like capped through mid 2025. So
Yeah.
what we've already seen is what we're gonna basically get through that
Yeah,
point.
I
So
mean,
like showing a Dark Knight Batman, you're looking at getting that like 2026.
Yeah, they're
maybe
focused on the
later.
112
So
Dark
it's
Knight.
like, and then you have the Armory coming out, like the Hot Toys Armory coming out with that Batman, which I think that, and that's not to go off on a tangent about Inart, but I think that's where it's going to be interesting too, seeing like how different the bat suit looks for that figure versus like a Hot Toys one. Because once you
Yeah,
get into
especially with the
suits-
improved one.
yeah, once you get into suits, it's kind of hard to make like separate your product out from your competitor because suits are not like there's not a lot of sculpting to be done for like a head sculpt in that way. You know what I mean? Like I think about like Hot Toys and Inart.
Yeah,
right now with,
it would.
like,
It really
bats
has
and-
to get down to like the really fine, minute
Really
details
fine
that
details.
the average collector doesn't care
Yeah.
about. You know, there are some people that are really into the accuracy and stuff, and I get that. There's a kind of a section of collecting for collectors that kind of go that route, but yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. And you know, to be fair, Inart does have a lot of great stuff loaded up, and we'll talk more about that when we move on. I think that's a good question to kind of end out the Inart talk. But yeah, guys, we'll move on from the Catwoman. I'll read a couple comments. Stevie did have a question for us. He says, "Do you all think we'll still get a Robert Oppenheimer figure since it's a Nolan frenzy at the moment?" I would love to see one. I did see a custom project go up recently that was absolutely gorgeous, and it came with the coolest bonus accessory ever. It came with an actual Oppenheimer head sculpt as well, so like the actual Oppenheimer likeness.
Yeah,
which is really cool. It's such a beautiful set, but of course it's custom. It's probably over $1,000 easily, and I just couldn't justify it. But I loved that film. I saw it on 70mm. I was very grateful to be able to do that.
Nice.
Beautiful, such a great film, and I'm so glad that all those guys got the proper awards and everything for their performances, because they did great. Especially, Cillian Murphy, we knew he was going to do great, but Robert Downey Jr. like really transformed himself in that role. Is crazy, totally crazy.
Hey, guys, I gotta go.
See you, Mike.
Sorry, but I gotta run to work.
All right, man.
Yes,
Priorities. That's how it is. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, bro. It was an absolute fun time tonight,
Yeah, man,
seeing
good
your
seeing you.
excitement
Thanks,
for Return of the
guys.
Jedi and stuff. So
Yeah, always great chatting with all you guys and everybody in the chat. Have a great night.
take care.
See you, Mike.
Don says only 9
There's
likes.
42.
Don, yeah, I was gonna say you probably haven't refreshed in a while because you've been
43.
hanging out with us since the beginning, Don. 57 watching. Hit that damn like button now. Well, guys, you heard it here first from Don himself. Hit that like button.
44 now.
Thank you so much for the hype, guys. But yeah, Oppenheimer was a fantastic film. It was kind of creepy. Like, I don't know the situation where I would display the real Oppenheimer, but it is a really cool idea. I got to be honest with you. I thought it was really cool.
Last thing I was gonna say is, figure-wise, like, I think she looks great in this pose. I know it's iconic, but I personally like the pose before this. Like, if I had her, or if I was getting her,
Yeah, I mean, that
I would do something more like
again,
that.
when I see this, it's hard to tell what material they use here. This doesn't look like smack like pleather to me. It almost looks like a thin, maybe vinyl material. I don't know. Like it, I'm hoping,
nice.
I'm hoping to see, that's very hopeful, obviously, because many times Hot Toys has been like, oh, cool, you want leather, don't care, and then they just gave us the same, so it's very possible. But what I'm seeing here, it just doesn't immediately scream pleather, but I would not be shocked if it was. Just at the very least, it does look like a nicer pleather if it is pleather. But yeah, guys, we're gonna move on to a big topic that I've been wanting to talk about ever since it dropped, and that is the Inart Joker 2019 offerings. I will, right off the bat, guys, I'm going to do a little promo here for you guys. I'm going to have this scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I do have a code from 16kit specifically for ordering this. So if you guys are interested in purchasing this through 16kit, it's available in many places, but I purchased mine through 16kit. I do have a $10 off code, and I think it expires on the 25th. That's when the pre-order closes. So if you guys are interested in ordering this, it's very expensive, but hey, every penny and dime counts, so it's $10 off your purchase. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to have a lot of good things to say about this set. I'm going to be honest with you. And I am going to comment on the pricing as well, because I think there's a lot to be considered when we're talking about the pricing on these sets. First and foremost, we're looking at Arthur Fleck here. This head sculpt to me is absolutely gorgeous. Not only that, the tailoring, not only on the jacket, but on the sweater, the choice of fabric and everything. I think this looks fantastic. And I feel like it's unfortunate because I believe the 2-pack is the Arthur Fleck and the red suit. I feel like it's unfortunate because a lot of people don't want this. And for me, having it in my display, I want to portray that evolution of the character where he went from this kind of loner guy that had such a rough life that he kind of snapped and turned into someone else. So for me to have Arthur Fleck alongside him is very important, but I get it. For a lot of people, they're like, I would just want the red coat. I don't need 2, I don't need 3, I don't need 4 figures. I get it. I get why a lot of people are like, I wish they just did the red coat by himself, or the red suit by himself. For me, though, I think this Arthur Fleck is absolutely beautiful. I thought that was going to scroll to another Arthur Fleck photo, but it's not. I think it looks great. I think it looks just like Joaquin Phoenix. Maybe you could argue, the brow could be adjusted just a little bit. For me, I don't care. I think it looks so good. I'm really, really excited. I love this film, and I've been waiting and waiting. I've been seeing all these third-party figures. You guys know I get a lot of third-party, but none of the third-party offerings for this guy really did it for me. And then when Inart mentioned, we're going to be working on a 2019 Joker, I'm like, let me see what they do. And boy, they really came out and did a lot.
I'm so shocked Hot Toys didn't.
I know. It obviously had to do with licensing. I mean, Inart mentioned that, the bare minimum offering was going to have to be $1,000 because of licensing reasons. I wonder what goes into that conversation. That's definitely a very kind of gray area that I don't know much about in terms of like forcing someone to sell at a certain point. I don't understand that personally, but that's just not my realm of expertise. But again, guys, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'll be honest with you guys. I did pre-order the 4-pack. Again, I waited and waited to see something better, and I truly am just blown away by this set. I love everything it comes with. The price is pretty steep, guys. The MSRP is $1,400. Now, with that price tag of $1,400, when we're talking about the premium set, there's two different sets. There's a 2-pack, which is considered the deluxe, and there's the premium. It does come with 4 figures, so you do get 4 whole figures with that. So not only that, you get 2 diorama bases. You get a bunch of different accessories. You get like the grocery bag that comes with Arthur Fleck. Of course, you get his revolver and everything. For me, the biggest selling point with the red coat is definitely that chair, because I want to recreate that scene. He's like, how about another joke, Murray? I just feel like they just thought about everything with this set, and the feeling that I get with this is kind of how I felt about the Harry Potter, where they kind of touched most of what they could have in terms of accessories and what was included. And again, just like, it's just so simple, and again, just the evolution of the character here. Like, that's with this 4-pack, you're getting a total evolution of the character. You get to see him as Arthur Fleck. You get to see him as a struggling clown working at his shitty job that he hates, and he gets bullied in the streets and stuff. You get to see him here, when he's down and out, and he just committed the ultimate crime on national television, and his nose is bleeding and everything. It's just like, there's just so much to love about this, and it's like, oftentimes with things I think about, like, what could I include here and there, and I feel like they've included really anything that I could have wanted. Now, X-Man says, to be fair, Kit's price is $1,800 for the 4-pack isn't terrible when you consider it's like $450 per figure. It's just so much on so many levels. Yeah, it's very expensive, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's very expensive. But again, when you break down that pricing, instead of just looking at the overall number, of course, with everything, we look at what does it come with. And it's not an easy pill to swallow. It's a film that, some people may not care that much about to spend that amount of money. And I get that. I totally understand that. So when I say I think it's a good value, it's in terms of what you're getting. You're getting 4 complete figures of Inart level quality, rooted hair on all of them that require rooted hair. And you get diorama display bases, so there's a lot that's included with it. I'm going to move on to you, Steve, because I don't want to keep talking my ear off. I'm just really excited about this, but I know you had some thoughts on this set, so I want to hear your thoughts and kind of where you are with this set in terms of pricing and what they're offering here.
Yeah, I think like in terms of pricing, I think the best value you're going to get is if you get the 4-pack, even though if you're spending more money. You're getting when you average it out, obviously it's less per figure when you average it out that way. This is not something that's for me, which it's just not. This movie, I don't want to talk too much about it, but this movie actually like kind of makes me sad when I watch it.
No, it's very depressing, dude.
It's very grounded, and honestly, like when I watch it, I'm like, damn, there's like, I always tell people this, when I watch this movie, I thought about it for like a week straight of like, damn, there's like a lot of stuff that's like wrong with society and like what's happening to certain people. It was just like a very grounded movie in that way, and it's just like, it's just not something I feel the need to collect. Nevertheless, this is incredible looking. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about what you're getting here. These just look absolutely phenomenal. I have nothing bad to say. I think really what it boils down to is how much do you really like this movie?
Exactly.
And are you willing to fork over the money to get all that? If you are, more power to you. If you're not, obviously that's fine. It would be nice if there was an option. I think the conversation about this being like they had to have it over $1,000 for the license is interesting.
Yeah.
When that didn't need to happen for The Dark Knight. And I get they're different movies, but we had like options for Joker, right? We had a sculpted option, we had a rooted option, single pack versus a double pack for the sculpted. So it's just, that's an interesting conversation. I guess like they really wanted it to be so premium that that's the price tag they put on it. So unfortunately, you're kind of stuck behind a paywall if you want to even get one.
Yeah.
But like I said, yeah, these look incredible, man. These they nailed pretty much everything.
I agree.
They nailed everything for this. And I think too, like something I brought up on another show is I think as collectors too, like seeing all of this amount of money at once, like there's a sticker shock initially.
Oh, great point. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like there's a sticker shock when you see $1,800 shipped or short of $1,800 shipped. But then when you think about if you're collecting these figures and you have, if you're buying multiple figures a year and you look at your collecting habits, I guess I would have you ask yourself, is that amount of money a considerable amount based on your collecting habits? Because that's really not in the grand scheme of things. If you're collecting, if you're collecting 10 to 15 figures a year, that is a considerable more amount of money. You know what I mean? So if you really look at yourself as a collector and what you're buying and how many figures you're getting, and you were to space that out over time, it's not as bad. But I think it's interesting as collectors, we look at like this big price, like this is so much money, when in reality, like it's 4 to 5 to 6 figures depending on what you're buying. You know what I mean? Over the course of time. So I feel like as collectors, we get this like, man, this is crazy, like the amount of money it is. But like with what you're buying as a collector, it's just not like I don't think it's that considerable when you look at what your collecting habits are if you're collecting multiple figures.
That's a great point.
And I know not everybody does. Like collecting at that level it's a lot. Like I know not everybody does. Some people get like a couple figures a year.
Mm-hmm.
I just mean for people who like buy a lot of figures, like it's really not, I don't really see it as being that crazy when you're buying multiple figures as a collector if you're collecting at that level. So I just want to kind of make that point. And with that being said, I think the main thing is like I said, whether or not this character means that much to you to be able to buy 4 of them. You know what I mean? For me personally, what I would have liked to see is this premium pack would have been nice to get the Inart or the like the rooted Dark Knight Joker with a Nurse Joker and a Bank Robber Joker. That would have been a 4-pack that I would have been into. You know what I mean? This movie, just not for me, but I think they absolutely nailed it as far as the different portrayals go. It's crazy because like it makes me want it when I see it because it's so good. It's just I just don't have a desire.
Right?
It is, yeah. I just don't have a desire to collect this version of the Joker. And there's gonna be people that are like that. There's gonna be people that really love it and want it. So really at this level, it just comes down to your personal preference. But I feel like the 4-pack, the value that you get with everything you're getting is it's a good value. The one thing I will say that I kind of like. The one problem that I do have, not that big of a deal, is I wish they would take the Joker lettering off the stairs, because Inart has said in the
people mention that.
Yeah, Inart has said in the past that like with the magnet bases, they were like, well, we don't want to include any type of crotch grabber or anything because it takes away from the realism. Well, I would argue that writing the word Joker on the stairs on a diorama takes away the realism of the diorama.
I think that Gandalf was like that too, right?
Yeah,
Like, didn't that have some sort of...
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but I just like to have the stairs. I'm surprised
it wasn't removable. I think that would have been a better option.
If you're going for realism on the piece and you want and also the diorama, obviously the stairs aren't even like to scale perfectly with the figure. And that's
it's just kind of like a backdrop in a way.
Yeah, so that's one part of it too. But like to have the lettering staggered, I just don't like the look of that when you're making it this premium and you're trying to make it as realistic as possible. You just don't need to write the lettering on the stairs. I feel like that's like really my only gripe, and it's not that big of a deal. But like that's just ever since I saw it, I was like, this just doesn't need to be there, in my opinion. You know what this is. You don't need that on the stairs. But yeah, that's all. That's a long-winded answer, but yeah, man, I'm excited for you. I'm excited that you're able to get this, man, and whoever else is picking this up. I think you guys are going to be really happy with this based on how it's looking here.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be such like an unboxing experience. Like, and there's a couple comments that I want to, and Lane, I'll allow you to pop in and have the floor while I scroll through and try to find those comments. But, yeah, Lane, go ahead and share your thoughts, and then I'll pull up this comment from Action in the Box.
I just think with this one, seeing the regular clown one just makes me sad.
No, I totally agree with like what Steve said and what you're saying, dude. it's crazy that Joaquin Phoenix's, obviously the writing as well, but Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of this character, it makes you feel bad for him, and you kind of have to remove all of the bad shit that other versions of the Joker have done.
Him do some terrible stuff too.
Oh, absolutely he does, but
so,
but what drove him to that point makes you kind of feel bad for him.
And what he doesn't know is and he doesn't know what's actually the truth and what's not. Like you as the audience member, although you as the audience member, not sure what exactly is going on by the end of the movie, like what was happening with this. But I think that this 4-pack, when you average it out, it's not too bad for each figure. But like for either one of these, whether it's just the 2-pack, because if I was going to get one, that's what I would get, the 2-pack, not the 4-pack, because I don't care about the Doctor one and stuff, those figures. But like, you have to be hardcore to be a fan of this version of the character. It's not even like you're getting multiple. To like put in context, I was able to pre-order and I've already managed to pay off like 5 Ahsoka line figures for about the same price.
Well, like it's like you also collect statues, for example, and like those are high price points. So like for me, I don't collect statues, so like I'm like, this price tag is very high and it's not what I'm used to spending. But then I look at it and I'm like, okay, and like, Steve, I think for the value proposition conversation made some great points. It's like, and admittedly, you guys know, like last year, I was still very much new to this rooted hair stuff because I should say real rooted hair, like wool rooted hair. I had the stuff with the nylon hair from Hot Toys for years. And you guys remember, I was like, dude, I don't care for the rooted hair. There's no justifying that price tag for me. And then, you know what? I saw that Wonder Woman and I had to have it from Hot Toys.
Yeah, I know.
And I got it in hand. And dude, I was just like, I am an idiot. I should have given this more of a chance. And I'm happy to admit that because it's a positive thing because I've found a new aspect of this hobby that I'm enjoying. And it's kind of this, I really Inart, as you research it more and you look into, what they charge for their figures and what goes into it. And Hot Toys Artisan line excites me as well. When you look at it from that standpoint, I think the pricing is very much on par with where it needs to be. Is it expensive? Yeah, it's very expensive. And, like the $500 Inart Gandalf meme that we were going on and on about, way back when. Yeah, it's very expensive, and, I totally understand sticking with the sculpted hair. And I think the other thing, guys, that kind of leaned me in this direction of the rooted hair is, I'll be honest with you, I don't like what I've seen from Inart when it comes to the sculpted hair.
I can see with Inart why you want to stick to the rooted hair.
Right, like so much so that I just recently, shout out to Jordan Skinner, I bought a rooted Inart Joker hair from her, head from her, because I was ready to sell my sculpted 2-pack to get the rooted hair 2-pack. Because the more I looked at the sculpted hair for the Joker, I'm just like, it's just not for me. It wasn't terrible. It's just not. I wasn't impressed by how it looked. It wasn't for me.
You feel the difference in focus within art right now.
Right, and then I see the photos of the rooted hair, and I'm like, dude, that looks way better. So good, because the color of the sculpted hair as well is not even close to what Heath Ledger's. He had those like lighter colors at the roots and everything. So very much I got like an epiphany, very much got converted in a way to the rooted hair stuff. And I've seen the light. I'm happy to admit, my opinion on it has changed. But that's just how it is. You sometimes you don't like things, and maybe it's for the wrong reasons, and then you give it another chance. And
I will say, I think this is a very good period. Now, my thing was a little bit the timing of this coming out, considering this year we've got the sequel coming. So there might be other in the planning or working stages, like whatever new look that this for. Hey, OG fan, good to see you, sir.
The goats, what's up, OG? Sorry to cut you off, Lane.
Yeah, no, but what other versions or looks of this character could be coming along with Lady Gaga, Harley Quinn.
So
that was just timing wise for this felt.
That's a great point, Lane, because the other justification I had for going for this set is, what if I don't like the second Joker film?
Yeah.
And I just want to remember this film, because when it comes to standalone DC films, this is probably one of the best for me. I think right now, in terms of the modern films, we're not talking about '89 Batman and stuff, but in recent release stuff, I still think the Batman's probably my favorite. but this is a close second for me, just in terms of like the acting, the performance, the portrayal of the character. They both, both of these films kind of have that grittiness to them, right? That
And
raw
this is
feel,
a
that
totally
real
different type
feel.
of movie. It's a very singular, at least so far anyway, singular type of story because it's in a hero universe, but it's not even a traditional villain origin.
Right, this is almost like a what if type thing,
Yeah.
and like
It's an acid trip because you can't even figure out like what is real, what's not. Like
this
you're
right
right,
here,
like
Lane,
Joker.
the scene of him like dancing in the mirror. Like, I
Yeah.
love that they've given us the option. And I'm stupid. I just realized as I'm thinking about it, I think earlier I said that this was the version of him after he shoots Murray. It's absolutely not. This is the bathroom scene. So I apologize if I said that earlier. But just how cool is that, man? And like the tailoring on the vest and
Well,
everything.
I give Inart credit. They were willing to go this far for this particular figure because this one I think is a little bit of a not I wouldn't say gamble necessarily, but for them going in on a 4-pack and a 2-pack for like this, I think on this particular version of the Joker, I think it's them stepping out there out of the comfort zone they've kind of had where either like I know Gandalf and Aragorn, Lord of the Rings, like that's not necessarily some where you're seeing much 6 scale of those characters of license being done. They can kind of, I know Asmus has been doing it, but you know what I mean with kind of trying where they're stepping in where they're not running face first into well
What is
there's
Chris
already
doing?
I don't know, he's probably ready to go. There's not like 2 other versions of the same character already that have come out in the last 5 years, and now we're trying to put out a third one. They get to kind of, this is them stepping out there with this version of the character where they may not be sure. This is also a 5-year-old movie now too, and there has been
And there's a lot of like
for-
time and development put into this, and we were wondering like what's taken them so long. Like, why haven't they seen? Well, now we know they're developing 4 different figures,
and diorama backgrounds,
and
that
you're right,
get
and the
all
diorama
checks.
bases and all
So
the
they had to get-
accessories.
to like the lapels looking the correct color combination to make sure they look right. I think this is. I never want to say a figure is going to be a Grail figure because that's in the eye of the beholder a little bit, and especially the price point of this guy. I think that this is going to be a classic if you parcel figures out, over the next like 10 years. This guy, like the 4-pack, that's going to be how it's probably sold. I'm going to be, very rare. If this could be expensive, like the Blitzway Ghostbusters, maybe some way where you're trying to get all 4 of them. Because I have a feeling this could be ones where people parcel stuff out, over the years, selling some of the figures,
I totally agree. And real quick, I will mention comment on that, but I forgot to read Action in the Box's comment. Action in the Box says, setting aside its quality, exclusivity, and uniqueness, this 4-pack of Joker from Inart provides us with an opportunity to recount the entire story of a person's transformation into the most notorious DC villain ever. It also serves as an eternal reminder to society that we're responsible for what we create. And yeah, for me, that's kind of what I briefly mentioned earlier, not as eloquently said as you, but I totally agree. Like, when you look at this 4-pack, it very much spoke to me because it tells that story, and you get, kind of all 4 phases of this character, from, just an average guy making probably really next to no money. We saw the apartment he was living in, and then, he's constantly getting basically shit on by society, and he's kind of has this internal struggle of like, when's enough's enough? Like, nothing's going well for me, and then he gets on the train, the subway, and then that that was that final straw, the kind of the straw that broke the camel's back there,
and then he doesn't know his origins could be all screwed up and what's going on with him and all that stuff.
And that like dynamic with like the Thomas Wayne thing. He thinks Thomas Wayne is his father, and his mom just lied to him the whole time. At least that's the impression that we got. Like, it's just it's a whole.
It throws the curve there.
Right.
It actually might be true.
Right. It's just so crazy, like just back and forth, and it's just like this mental battle that he's having, and it's like that's what it's. I totally agree with Steve, and like what you said, it's a very depressing film in a lot of ways, but it's just so well done. And Ian, I know a lot of people are very upset about that. And Kit made a joke on his page, like, who would buy if I split the packs up? And he was trolling everybody there. But
well, that's the one everybody would say they want.
This is the one everybody wants. Of course they do. With the stair diorama. Me personally, I actually love the shot of Arthur. Dude, I don't know what it is. I love Arthur just holding the grocery bag. I just love it. I just think it's just so like that's it for me. Of course, this Joker is not going on the stairs for me. He's absolutely going to be on the Murray stage, sitting in the chair, kind of flailing around the revolver for me. I just think this looks so good, man. But yeah, overall, guys, I mean, there's really not much else to say about it. It's beautiful. It's such a really well thought out set. I can't wait to get it. It's gonna, guys. We're talking about stuff getting delayed from Inart. This one's gonna be. It's gonna be a minute before we see
Chris
this
have
one.
anything to say?
I don't know, Chris. Did you have anything to say before we move on from the Joker?
Only thing I was just gonna say is I agree. I think it's a beautiful figure, and I know some people have like touched on some updates that they need to do, but it's not like atrocious enough to make anyone not get it. At least I don't think so. It's not gonna go in my collection. I kind of on board with Steve over there with what he was talking about with the film and how it made you feel. And it's a beautiful film, so much so like I don't even like I'm not huge in the DC universe besides Superman, and I've only seen the Batmans like any of them a certain number of times. But this film I've seen more than those films, surprisingly. And I think it was already touched on. It's a reminder of like what we can create in society, but also it's almost relatable. Like people who are picked on or like go through these struggles and stuff, what they can go through mentally. So I appreciate the art behind it, the look. Like I think they knocked it out of the park, like you said, with all the accessories, and it's everything you could ask for. So whoever is picking this up should definitely be super, super happy, especially with all the talk of the people who have been wanting this figure. So congratulations to all those who are getting it. I'm happy for y'all.
Absolutely. Well, I totally agree. Yeah, it's just, give credit where it's due, like the amount of thought and stuff that went in this. If we're going to be getting slower announcements and releases from Inart, if I had to guess when the next announcement was, those of you guys who are big Dune fans like me, March 1st, we're going to see Dune 2 in theaters. So I imagine that's when they're going to time that Paul Atreides announcement. So they're probably gearing up for that.
Wait.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
wait
going
for that movie.
that's going to be such an awesome film, and I can't wait. Yeah, very grim, Tron. Very grim. That's a one word way to put it for sure. That's a great way to sum it up. Very grim film. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that Paul Atreides. I've pre-ordered a couple of the other characters from the other company that's doing the officially licensed stuff. But I did not grab Paul because I'm like, I know Inart's going to do such a good job on that Paul, and he looks awesome. They showed him off recently, and he looks literally smack like Timothée Chalamet. So. Final topic, guys. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because I don't want to keep you guys here all night. This is a very long stream for us, but I know we want to talk about this, right? We got to blow some steam on this one, right? Final topic of the night, guys. Really quickly, we're going to talk about the J&D reveals. I'm puzzled by the direction that this company is going in when it comes to 6 scale. Being that I'm not a J&D statue collector, I'm not a statue collector at all, but I've never, been a collector of their stuff. I don't understand this decision, guys. For those of you that are not aware, these are power pose statues. These are not posable figures, but this is part of their Kojin Work 6 scale line. Very weird, right? And then we're talking $829 for Bruce Wayne. Doesn't even pose. That's your type A.
They literally
And an empty cowl.
They literally, like, especially with the head sculpt, they literally hit the 1/3 scale statue with a head sculpt, like with a shrink ray, and shrunk it down. That's all they did.
Can you move the head?
I don't think so. I think it pegs in.
I thought I saw in the
could be
preview
wrong.
like you could move the Bruce Wayne head. I thought, but the Batman you cannot. I know the Batman.
You might be right. You might be right. I honestly,
I'm not 100% sure on
the
that.
video, I got so like turned off by it. I didn't skip. I kind of skipped through it.
I just
But
remember behind the scenes, like it showed them kind of like turning the neck, but ultimately, like you said, it just at that price point, it doesn't really matter.
Question:
I see Christian Bale in there though.
Yeah. Well, it's the head. It is literally the head.
Action in the box says yes. You can. Is the head? Is it silicone then?
Yeah.
The heads are silicone.
I believe so. Yeah.
It is one. This is 100%. Those are the same sculpts that are on the 3rd scale statues. So this is the figures, the 1/6 scale.
Yeah, so the figures themselves are not posable, but the head is apparently posable.
Okay,
Interesting.
because they're literally the same pose as the third scale statues. I mean, literally the same pose. If you were buying the statue.
Yeah, it's basically a 1/6 statue. It's crazy.
I just, I get it. Like Bale sells, but why this direction? What they're doing with
Why
this?
power pose?
Well, right. So that's what I'm about to touch on. In my opinion, I think the reason they're doing that is they're trying to rake in some of those statue collectors to get into this 6 scale stuff. I mean, like, what other reason? Like, you're not appealing to 6 scale collectors who are used to highly posable, articulate figures with this. You're not. And like, there's a reason that I started with the Inart discussion because that price tag is big. But then when you look at this, you're like, what's happening? Where's the disconnect here? Like, you got, which in my opinion, I think like, J&D is more so kind of competing with Inart in a way because they're kind of looking for those higher end collectors that want that realism, the better material. So
Yeah.
they're kind of competing with them. And when we're talking about pound for pounds right now, Inart, they're blowing them out of the water in terms of what they're offering for the price. This
Well,
is just
it makes sense with Queen and Art and J&D because in the statue game they're both kind of the hyper realism, real actor likeness kind of thing. That's more what their game is that they put a lot of focus on in the realistic stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that at all with the figure, but I didn't realize that they were power pose.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't either.
man,
I just found that out,
yeah.
and that makes it
Yeah.
even worse.
I mean,
Dude,
it's puzzling because a lot of people stop collecting 6 scale and get into statues because they want like something with more of a presence, and also
Right.
like you're entering a realm of a lot more money. Like this is the amount. There's statues that are less than this. You know what I mean? Like you're entering a realm of.
$1,800.
You're entering a realm of
get.
like who is this marketed towards? I guess is my question. Like
Just,
And,
and just
there's
to put
so
where-
many statues I could think of that are
Yeah.
cheaper than that.
there's so
Yeah,
many
bigger.
things that like
What-
yeah.
Just to put in context here, Connor, just for like where even J&D, like sometimes there's in comparison. Now this is on secondary market, not thing, but like buddy of mine, he just bought the J&D Joker, the third scale statue for $1,400.
There you go.
Yeah,
And even if it's not as good a
Third
sculpt as
scale.
the figure,
Third
it's still he bought. Now that was because someone wanted to get rid of it. It was just the perfect timing. But I've seen like other J&D statues,
That's
under
just-
retail sell below for that.
Also,
It's
these
just-
head sculpts better be like you're
don't
spending this much money on 2 figures like this. These better be the best head sculpts I've ever seen in a 6 scale figure.
I know, and I'm
that
sorry.
has literally no.
I told
issues
Connor
whatsoever
earlier they better
if you are
talk to
spending
me or
that amount.
something.
This better be the best likeness you could possibly get for this price point.
I don't think they are though. Like
They're
they're
not.
not bad
The other
sculpts, but
statues.
it's just
They're there, but they're
Weirdly,
not.
the left
they're not
one looks
$1,800
worse
though.
to me.
no. It's guys. I'm like, and you guys know I don't like shitting on stuff because I know there's people out there that are really interested in this. But this is the first thing in a while. Like even the Joker, the $2,000 Joker, even though it wasn't for me, I could see why people would want it.
Sure.
It was kind of that ultimate realism with the silicone and everything. Wasn't for me, but I could understand it. This one, and not only this, but like the direction so far that they're taking with the 6 scale line is very puzzling. And like, I look at this, I'm looking at $1,800. You get what's here on this table. So you get swap out power pose arms. You have swap out armor pieces for the shoulder, I guess, or I don't know if the armor piece is not installed. You get two pairs swap out hands, and then that little magnetic thing, and then the little bases there. It's like,
Hey, you just blew my mind here because I completely forgot about that Joker. But we're talking like the $2,000 for that. Then 18, we might as well call it 4. That
Yeah,
doesn't
bro,
even
that-
include like
all said and
shipping,
done, that's
whatever.
over $4,000 for both of them.
That's
Bro,
you can go get something 1-to-1 for that.
I can get
Yeah, bro.
multiple packs of those
Like
2019
life
Jokers.
size.
But
Yeah.
bro, just to put in context, if you wanted to go spend that money, you could go buy like a Bale Batman life-size bust or something for about that price. And
Yeah,
just go
I
ahead
could-
and get a big thing for that.
I could pay
amount
for
just
like
that.
how many Hot Toys invoices with this? Like
You
it's
can go
just
get
Hey,
a
Connor,
replica, like a master replica or something,
Ch-
or
Chess Facebook
studio
real quick.
scale.
Steve's 2022 Batmobile. That's this set right here. It's like, do you want a 2022
like-
Batmobile or this?
Like, what are you choosing in that scenario? You know
I'd
what I mean?
rather that's use Jazz Inc.'s the
Yeah.
Starfighter.
Go
I'd
buy
rather
it.
get that.
You can
for
get
that price
something just
than-
at a way like this. Yeah, this is just, and also this price is not what you're going to be paying in the U.S. Let's not forget that, because look what happened with that Joker. That thing went up by like hundreds of dollars to buy in the United States. So, yeah, you could like, this is over $2,000 when you factor in aftermarket, when you factor in reseller price and shipping to the United States.
Dude.
Yeah.
You're going to be $2,300 in on this set, maybe a little bit more. It's crazy.
Yeah, Tron, it's not it's like it's not crap at all. It looks cool. It's just it's not worth to me.
the bang for
Not
your
it's
buck.
not worth
Value
anywhere
proposition,
right?
right?
It's not
Yeah.
worth anywhere close to $1,800 for me. Guys, I said this to Steve earlier and it really like blew my mind. How much was that the Batman Armory set that got announced last year?
Yeah, that thing.
$570?
Yeah, $570 for that.
Right, that comes with a fully posable, updated DX19 essentially. You get the Salad Fingers statue Bruce Wayne. You get the armory that looks really good. It's got all the different accessories in it, like
$570.
$570 for that.
You could buy that. You could buy that
Less than,
and
like,
the tumbler
around a third of
and
the
still
price.
be cheaper.
Yeah, you could buy that.
Yeah.
You could complete. You could get that. You could get the tumbler. You could get pretty much everything from Dark Knight Rises for the price of this.
Yeah,
Dude.
or the Batman.
That's about. You could get
that's what I'm
Bane. You could
saying.
get
Bane,
Catwoman. You
Catwoman,
could get
dude.
Batpod, Tumbler.
Yeah.
I know.
And the new
Throwing an
armory for
Inart
this
Joker
price.
2-pack rooted, you can spend they're like $850 right now for a rooted Inart Joker 2-pack. It's like
it's just so it comes down to like, is this going to be really nice? It's probably going to be really nice. It's just the
I
value,
believe it,
the
yeah.
value proposition just isn't there when you compare
Well,
it to other things.
J-
You know?
just to put in context, so Connor, that image I sent you with the head sculpt there,
Mm.
that is the J&D Bruce Wayne that came with the third scale statue. I think if you
so
look
you're
at
thinking they
that-
just shrunk it down.
Well, no, I know they did. I was able to look
Okay.
at it in 5 seconds and tell it was now.
Yeah, so you
I
would
think
know
it's
better
gonna
than I
be-
because I don't follow the statue.
Well, that's why I
stuff.
wanted to show. That's why I sent it to you so you could see if you could like look in comparison to some of the. Now, I think because people's big complaint for the third scale statue was that he looked kind of old a little bit, and I've heard some people say that about. I don't know if you have pull up one of the other figure like his pictures, but they say he looks a little bit old. I think it looks almost exactly the same, maybe touched up more, so he doesn't like. You can see here, like he still kind of looks a little old, like on the J&D.
Yeah, like it looks
This-
like Bale. It's just a little something I don't like
like
about
with
it.
with
It's like
it-
in
it's
the
the
eye
same
or
thing
nose.
with it's the if you look at the like the crease, the creases under the eyes and all that kind of stuff and everything, he looks older, which is the same problem people have with the third scale. I literally think they shrunk the head down to
Yeah.
this to put it on here, basically.
That makes
Maybe,
sense.
which is why they are also power pose instead of
Has
fully
a,
articulate.
has a
But
company
that's
ever
stupid,
heard
man.
feedback and then went and like changed the price? Because I know they'll change like certain looks, like redo a paint color or
No, I don't.
fix a sculpt, but like
Yeah, Chris, I think if anything, once they are set on a price, that's it. They've got their number that they want to meet. I think if anything, what they have done is like we'll include more to kind of make you feel like you're getting more for your money. Like at least like with Inart, for example, with the Gandalf, they weren't able to successfully do the magnetic rolling eyeball, so they're like, here is an extra accessory. So I think that was a fair composition, but yeah, we all need to get back to Inart. Yeah, in terms of this realm of figures, I'm going to stick with Inart for now. I told Chris earlier, never say never. Maybe J&D will do an absolute banger Harry Potter that's not $2,000 and there's like a base version, but that's a massive if, because their price points right now and what they're offering, at least what I'm seeing with this, I think 800. I'll be very curious to see if that all-in set sells out like the Joker did, because for all intents and purposes, guys, that Joker set sold out very quickly. That limited Joker set, so
I hear
you got to give it to
J&D
them. That at
usually
least sold.
does, with their stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
so
they
we'll
have
see.
loyalty.
You might be surprised. This might sell out very quickly. Good for them, but also that's bad for us because then they might continue to do stuff like this. Which I'd rather them continue in their silicone skin route because I think that's a good lane for them to stick into. But we'll see. What that remains to be seen. Guys,
Weirdly,
I'm sweating my ass off in my Endor poncho here. I appreciate everybody hanging out on the panel for this long. This is a long stream for us, guys. But there's just so much to talk about. I did cut a couple things out that were just like kind of, whatever.
Justice for Fox.
Right, justice for Fox. Yeah, Fox, I
We
told
just
Chris from
passed
the
it
get-go,
out.
I'm like, we probably won't talk about Fox tonight just because,
We
of,
were like, forget that guy.
I wanted to spend more time on Han. I know a lot of people would probably start dipping out because they didn't want to talk about Fox, and that's fair. I get it. I want to say a big thank you to Steve for joining us tonight. Steve, I appreciate you, man. It was actually awesome to have you tonight because you had a lot of great insight on basically everything tonight. So
Appreciate it.
It was really, really great to have you guys. Please, if you haven't already, head on over to Steve's channel. He just hit 600 subscribers. Trust me, he does great content. Steve is like really, really putting in the time. He's doing stuff that I'm like trying to do now. I'm like trying to make my videos look better and get more lighting and do all that stuff. And I'm looking at Steve. I'm like, dude, what the hell was I doing at 600 subs? Oh, I know. I was being a goofball on stream with Lane and Chris. So, but yeah, guys, check out Evil Sneaker. The link's in the description. Absolutely, dude. Chris, great to have you here as always. I know Chris is cooking up some Legos or wrestling stuff. Sorry, I said Lego. I know you got Lego in the future.
I do have Legos coming
in the near
in,
future.
yeah.
I know Chris got a big boy Lego purchase coming that I had to sign on and approve with him because I thought it was a great idea because I'm also a fan of this this particular IP. But sorry, quick question from Collection Set. What third-party figures do I have coming in soon? So guys, I really do apologize. I told Chris how upset I was about it. Maybe you guys can share your feedback with me. So I recorded a review with my new setup. I got a new camera, new lighting, and everything of the Present Toys Blade. And I recorded it in 120 FPS when I went to edit it with my typical editing software. The software that I use cannot export in 120 FPS. So when I did that, when I exported in 60 FPS, and I didn't realize that I did that, the quality obviously kind of went down a little bit because you're losing a lot of frames there. So it's definitely still watchable, and you know some parts look fine, but there's like some scenes here where you can see like lines on my hands and stuff. So I'm like, should I just scrap the review and say, oh well, you know, I didn't do a review on the Blade? That's where I am right now because I'm kind of a perfectionist lately. But if you guys want me to post it, I will. I did do a review on the Blade, but I also have the play toy Padme coming. I may do a review on her, the Queen Amidala. I have the Battle Damage Terminator from Present Toys. I'll absolutely do a review on that one and kind of compare it with the clean version. I do have the Alfred from Mars Toys on the way. Thankfully, I was able to get a slightly early copy of that, so I have that headed my way. So we'll see when that gets here because shipping's been really slow to the East Coast lately from Kit because of I guess Chinese New Year. Everybody's trying to get those packages out, so it's been very slow for me. So hopefully I can get that out before everybody gets it, so I can give you guys an early look at, especially those who haven't ordered it yet. So hopefully have that soon. I think that's everything from third party. Oh, also I saw the invoices were sent out for the Ghostface. The Scary Movie one that was announced not long ago where he comes with the tongue out mask and he's sitting in the couch. He's got the bong and everything. So I did pre-order that. That's from Y Studio. So I'm sure I'll be getting an invoice for that very shortly. So so I'll have hopefully reviews up for all of that stuff. Again, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do about Blade because I feel bad like kind of giving you guys, because it makes me so mad because the original review, it looks so good. Like I really am happy with where the quality of my videos is going with this new stuff that I got. But yeah, it just bummed me out. So I'll definitely have a review up of that Ghostface for sure once it arrives. X-Man, if you want to check that out. And yes, guys, on your way out, if you haven't already, check out the 6 Scale Scallywags Discord. It's a new Discord server we got going. Having a lot of fun in there. You guys they're always hanging out in the voice chat. I've just never seen that in any Discord servers. I mean, just everybody's hanging out in voice chat. I love it. We call it the chill zone. So, and finally, I gotta thank Lane, the legendary Lane Kramer, for hanging out with us tonight, sharing his thoughts on everything. We appreciate you, Lane, as always. And then everybody in the chat, guys, you guys have been fantastic. I appreciate you guys being civil. I know we had some different opinions on certain things tonight, but you guys are always the best chat around. So we very much appreciate it. And thank you for spending our Thursday evening with us. And that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. On your way out, consider dropping a like on the channel. And also, we do have a giveaway going on. Lane is graciously giving away a statue on the channel. So if you want to win a really cool statue and you're a DC fan, definitely head on over and try to win yourself the Huntress statue by Sideshow Collectibles. It's going to be a live stream, so go into the live streaming section and you'll see it. There's a big, bright giveaway thumbnail. So I think a little over 20 people have entered, so the odds are pretty good, and that's going to be running throughout the rest of the month. So definitely check that out. But that's going to do it. And also all the panel members that aren't here, I see Mike popping back in the chat. All the panel members who aren't here that headed out early, thank you so much, everybody. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend if I don't see you. And then happy collecting, guys. Some great stuff this week. I'm so glad to see all the positivity because there's a lot of different stuff for everybody. Different strokes for different folks, you know. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next time.